unusual intro to a select board meeting. I would like to call the regularly scheduled select board meeting for the town of Middlebury for Tuesday, July 14th, 2026 to order. Our first issue of business is the approval of the agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mark, are there any changes other than the increased time for the infrastructure discussion? Perfect. Thanks very much. Any other comments or concerns on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Fantastic. We have an agenda. Next item is the approval of the consent agenda. On tonight's consent agenda, we have our prior minutes from the DRB, the Planning Commission, the Board of Listers, the Energy Committee, state licenses and entertainment permits, including Middlebury Discount Beverage, Otter Creek Bakery, Greg's Market, and Good Times Company. I don't know who that is. Approval of the check warrants for the last 2 weeks. Assemblage permits for Spooktacular Trick-or-Treating, the Car Show and Fall Festival, the Teen Center Parade and Festival, and the Rogers Road Neighborhood Party. A change to the town purchasing policy, allowing Mark to designate someone when he's unavailable, and the town manager's report, including many things.
Oh, I just have a question.
Let's move in second and then we'll talk about the items. Move.
Second.
Second. Yes.
Should I abstain since I've got a thing in there? The Rogers Road Neighborhood Party.
From the minutes, you can abstain, I think.
Can I abstain from voting on that one?
No,
From approving the assemblage permit?
Yes, should I abstain from? Okay.
Unless it was like party at Megan's house.
The question usually is if you're impacted more than another member of the public by this thing, you have a personal stake that's greater.
I don't have to abstain,
because
I just was trying to do the right
yeah,
thing.
and so I think we'll note your involvement in it, and if it comes out to 3-3 against the consent agenda, we'll consider what to do at that point. Fred?
I know we have a long meeting, so I'm not going to request a separate agenda, but I would encourage members to look at the listers minutes.
Yes.
Particularly the number of tax exemptions and problems they're having with property valuation review, and the challenges that poses for us. On the bright side, the grand list report is a grand list higher than we anticipated when they did the tax rate estimate at town meeting, which could knock 2 or 3 cents off the increase in tax rates.
Say how much, but you should know, right?
I couldn't help but do a little arithmetic there. Anyway, that's what I had to comment on.
Thanks, Fred. Dan?
And under the listers, there was what I texted you earlier about. We're going to handle that at some other. Should I bring that up or?
I wasn't sure what questions you have. Allison's in tomorrow morning. If you have questions, I'm happy to check in with her and circle back.
Why don't you share that with this body since you brought it up?
Well, it said in there that there was tax exemptions for stone crop, particularly the school tax, because if it can be forgiven for 3 years if the town is impacted by flood damage.
It's not that stone crops are, it's because we're a flood damaged community, people can apply for this.
Correct.
Tax exemption for 3 years. It's like, who all can apply? Can I apply?
Stone crop is applying. And if there's also, they can apply for property taxes for regular property taxes if approved by the town, and it said it looked like they were going to proceed that way.
Say that in a minute. Yeah, we will certainly discuss this without letting it just happen.
Needless to say, any exemptions, whether it's education tax or town, means the rest of us
Of course.
have to bear the cost.
Yes,
That's correct.
yes. So I have one other thing, and then
Bring it.
I know I usually don't
Let's
talk
go.
this time. The minutes, line 364, when we were talking about the DAC, it says that in the end, the board agreed the DAC is necessary and required under the current zoning. If I recollect correctly, we agree that it's required under the current zoning. I don't think we agreed that the DAC is necessary.
So you would strike the necessary
The
clause. and say
necessary
required
clause,
under the
it's
current.
required under the zoning.
Okay. All right, any other comments on items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
With Megan's slight, yeah,
So I'm just
recusal
so
noted.
excited for the block party.
Disclosure.
Yes,
It's
disclosure.
It's approved, so you're good.
All right, the next
any
item
announcements for
is
business?
everyone's favorite citizen comments. This is a time for any member of the public to address us on an item not on the agenda. Jeremy, come on up.
Oh, this one came out of, we just walked into, so. Jeremy Rathman, I know most of you, used to work here. Used to chair the Energy Committee years ago, which you might not know.
I did not know that.
And I guess the reason that I want to say something is based on what we just witnessed at the tail end of that meeting. I totally understand that private citizens have a right to complain and complain about town staff and complain about the consultants we hire, the people we work with, the select board that's volunteering. I think when you're appointed to a town board, that line of decorum should be different. I don't think that is appropriate. I don't think we should have, people who are on a town appointed board criticizing the town staff and criticizing the volunteers on other boards and things like that. I mean, I get that everybody has difference of opinions, and there are perfectly valid difference of opinions of the sludge dryer, scientific basis. But that's what should be discussed, not personal gripes about the way projects are being handled or the way information is being disseminated. There's very clear codes of conduct that apply to the select board in relation to if they have issues with town staff, they're to take it through the town manager. And I really think the select board should maybe think about talking to the committees that we have and let them know that maybe they should be following the same policy rather than what we just witnessed before the start of this meeting. Because I found that pretty gross.
Thanks.
That's my
Thank
opinion.
Anyone else here for an item which is not on the warrant agenda? Hearing none, and moving on. Next up is the town fire warden. The shot.
It's not a free job, but somebody's got to do it.
Very good. Act 162?
Yeah, Act 162 changed the fire warden's appointment process, and also removed any funding for the town warden, and,
Perfect.
which was a great state move, right?
Yeah, amazing.
More responsibility
Well done.
and less pay, so
Yeah.
it's working out well. It's really no change for us. The town appoints a fire warden. It's me. That part of it is still there. They will compensate for fires on state fire warden or state land, which is different than the feds. The feds have dropped that, so the feds don't pay you for services on federal land. They have defined a campfire, which is kind of nice. They didn't have a definition before, so it took them probably 4 years to make that definition. So hopefully it's a good one. Our ordinance defines one already, so we're light years ahead of those guys. It's a tough job, even though in Middlebury we have a limited policy, so we burn from November to April, and then we shut it down. Thank the Lord, because it's difficult to keep people from burning their house down.
Yeah.
They mean well, but and we encourage them to take that stuff and chip it, take it to landfill and have it chipped, and that works out well. But people don't like to be told no, and they can be pretty nasty. And usually I'm not confrontational with them. I just usually politely end the conversation and have them have the conversation with the police department. I don't need somebody at the end of my driveway, giving me a bunch of grief over a pile of brush that shouldn't be burned. So, but other than that, happy to do it.
Wow. Other than that, very good. Any questions for the chief while he's here?
I move we appoint Fire Department Chief David Shaw as the town of Middlebury Forest Fire Warden.
Second.
Moved and seconded. I heard no questions. Thanks for your service
You bet.
in this and many other ways. We got a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you.
Segue that word.
Hey, Mark, can we get the rear screen on? Please?
They usually come out.
Quick AV action here. And then
Oh,
yeah, it'll change. Oh no,
Oh, no.
now we're all over the place.
Oh, no.
It's such a PC, it should go after it finishes trying to sell you things. I kind of trust it. Yes, there we go.
Now we lost this one.
Oh, except for this one. Yeah, that's it there, right? It's two switches that each control two lights.
So how do you do this?
You bring it up really close to the one that you're trying to get.
Mr. Technology here.
Yeah, I does. Come here, you. I know what's happened. We've made this work.
Because Dorothy said,
If only we had Drew, this would never.
nothing against you.
Yeah, and then it bounces straight off of here. Yeah, awesome.
Now
Now we have nothing.
Now both of them. Hey.
What? Okay. I'll take the logs. Okay. And it'll get big in a second. Yeah, next up is our public hearing number 1 on Middlebury Town Charter proposed amendments. So it's actually happening.
Wow. Oh my God.
I know, it's very exciting. This is the culmination of, how long did we meet? Like 8 months?
Yeah.
Like a long review process, pouring over this, bringing in outside people to discuss, and coming up with what I think the committee is quite pleased with.
you want to just go into the hearing or have any introduction? What do you want to do?
Let's open the public hearing. I know we have some public comments that we should entertain. So I will, in accordance with governing statutes, Title 17 VSA 2641 and Title 17 VSA 2645, the Select Board is conducting a first public hearing to take questions and comments from the Middlebury community regarding proposed changes to the town charter. If you have a question or comment, please raise your hand if you are in the room, and when recognized, come to the table in front. If you're on Zoom, please use the raise hand button at the bottom of your Zoom window to be recognized. Please state your full name for the public record before you make your comment. And with that, I will open the public hearing. Dorothy, come on down.
Am I the only one?
I don't think so.
I already talked, so you gotta go first.
Well, I have quite a list though. so-
Come on up. We want to hear it.
Come on, I don't want to talk again.
All right. I went right through it, so I.
Real brief, we're going to hear from the town manager.
Real quickly, apparently there was a broken Zoom link on the agenda. It's been updated, but if anybody's watching at home on television, they can join now.
Okay.
The link's been fixed.
Is the public link available? Because I need to.
It is, it's on our website on the agenda.
Very good.
All right, I'm Dorothy Mammon,
Thank you.
for the record. I just went right through it, so I've got I know, it took me a while, but I was curious. So, okay, so my first comment is on section 106, 107 about ordinances. About ordinances becoming effective 10 days after adoption. And I'm just, in which it used to be 40. And I'm seeing that the publication of the ordinance would be 14 days after adoption. So it would actually be taking effect possibly before it was posted anywhere, which seems like maybe it should be posted before it takes effect. And then there's the other thing of
Can you give us paragraphs that you're on, so we can,
section 107. Do
okay.
you have it by section number or something?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, section 107, C. Section 107C is to be posted not more than 14 days after adoption, but then section 107D is every ordinance shall become effective was 40, changing to 10 days after adoption. So it could actually become effective before it was posted anywhere. And my second concern about the change to 10 days is about the referendum process. which has the lower percentage of voters required to have a referendum to amend or recall or repeal an ordinance, a lower number of signatures required for 40 days after passage. So you could pass an ordinance, have people who didn't pay any attention during the hearing part, and then were like, oh my God, what did they do? You know, and want to file a referendum to repeal it or amend it, which they have 40 days to do to get 5% of the signatures. Meantime, it's gone into effect when you would, then you would suspend it. And I just wonder if it's cleaner to just leave it the 40 days that it was. And I don't know that you just decide these comments right on the spot, or you might just offer it up.
But, so there's never been an instance that I know of where there has been a petition for repeal or amendment. You go through a public hearing process, it's posted. People are usually aware in that way, make their comments. The challenge comes when we want to make a change regarding, for example, parking in the streets in the winter. And we have to wait 40 days to do it. It's November, you know, and it seems like these days with the access that people have on the internet and the publicity we have about controversial things, that we can take an action and still preserve the citizens' right to petition if they're later on say, no, this is a bad idea, or we need to amend it. So we're trying to protect the citizen rights, but enable the select board to act more promptly, as we have often found we needed to.
Well, I don't necessarily agree, but that's not neither here nor there. But you would, if there was a referendum, you would have to suspend the ordinance, which you would have put it into effect and then have to suspend it. Could be awkward. Maybe it will never happen. But it's the way it's written. That's what you'd have to do, and it just seems awkward to me. But but in no case should I think something should go into effect before it's been posted. I guess that just doesn't. I guess even if there was a hearing and so on beforehand, you have 14 days to post it, and it goes into effect 10 days. That just doesn't feel right to me.
Okay.
The other thing is the language. I have the copy David Soffren gave me that has the red and the blue for the council, COUNSEL, council. If you turn to page 4, the top of page 4, where on about the middle of the blue, where it says the ordinance shall be effected only if adopted by a majority of those blah blah blah. This is talking about the referendum process to amend or repeal. The ordinance was already passed by the select board, and so I might be clearer to say the amendment or repeal shall be effective only if adopted by a majority of those voting on an annual or special town meeting. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What? Fred?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm looking fuzzy, so okay.
Can you
I'm looking
actually
fuzzy 'cause I'm
clarify
not
which
able to
section
open
that
it.
is? I'm also
Yeah,
not
I
able to
can't
open
either.
that document. So tell
Okay.
us which section you're referring to.
Section 108A. Do you have the version? Oh, maybe your page numbers are different too.
I have
so to
no
go by
version
section.
right now.
Yeah. Do you have this?
Did you
Do
get
you have the version that has
previous
the
agenda, but now
attorney's
Some of them
comments in
work.
blue?
Oh.
but the attorney one doesn't work.
Okay, wait, go
Okay.
back to the. It works if you get it from the agenda.
I think we just.
That's what I'm doing.
It doesn't work on the website.
Try the
hot
agenda
link-
notes.
The hot link in the agenda.
I did the
does.
I did the agenda notes and it opened.
I got it.
Oh.
Where's the legal counsel?
Okay.
It's literally just like.
Did you get that, Fred?
The first one was forbidden.
Yeah, I'm in. Thank you.
We're all in now.
You're all. Oh, now you can see
feel
what
like
I'm talking about.
Now we can follow
I'm
along.
glad we caught up. Okay. So do you see what I'm saying? That this is section 108A, where it says the ordinance shall be effected only if adopted by a majority of those voting on the question, blah, blah, blah. But what this section is about is a citizen filed referendum to amend or repeal an ordinance that was already passed by the select board. So the ordinance was already passed. So what it might be better to say is the amend or repeal shall be effective only if adopted by a majority of those voting on the question. Because
Yes.
that's what they're
Yeah.
voting on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
So
voting
this
on
is
an
the,
amendment or repeal, not the ordinance.
Right.
This is the red section on the 4th line of page 4.
Yeah, then the word ordinance in blue.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Instead of the ordinance.
It
is
should
The
say
repeal.
the
Or
amendment
repeal,
or
sorry.
repeal.
Amendment or repeal, perfect.
Understood.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I hope that level of comment.
That's perfect, thank you.
Okay. Then in section 110, B, so 110B is stricken. The right of referendum and initiative contained in sections 108 and 109 shall apply to the amendment or repeal of an ordinance as well as to its enactment. I'm not sure why you struck that, because you could, the
As if
select board.
You just covered it above. There's a whole section that covers that above.
You've
redundant.
covered that for, you've covered it above for enactment, and what this clarifies is that the referendum and initiative process also apply to the amendment or repeal of an ordinance. So should the select board amend an ordinance, not a new ordinance, but they amend the ordinance to say that now the speed limit in this place is 5 instead of 20, or whatever the heck, you know, they modify it, they amend it, or repeal an ordinance, then that right to have a referendum regarding an amendment, that it would be a right to have the referendum process for an amendment as well as for the enactment.
Which is now covered in section 108,
No, Fred.
isn't it? All town ordinances may be amended or repealed.
In 108B, it says within 40 days after passage of an ordinance, 5% of the registered voters shall constitute sufficient signatures for a referendum petition. So that's 40 days after passing an ordinance is when that lower percentage of registered voters, because there's just been a new thing.
Yep.
And I think when you've made an amendment or a repeal of an ordinance, that is also a new thing, and the same right of referendum should, which is specified in 108 and 109, should apply, which there was this language that did that in the existing charter, and I just think you should keep that language. So that if is anybody understanding what I'm saying?
Totally understand.
Is that in the last sentence
Yeah.
of
It's
110A?
in section 110, no, it's 110B.
Just 110.
No, I know that
Yeah.
we struck through that, but
Well-
is that also redundant because we have it as the last sentence?
No,
As
because
proposed.
110A is specifically about zoning ordinances and zoning bylaws, and this is about anything. I mean, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't really belong in a
Yeah,
section
no.
called non-applicability to zoning and subdivision, but that right of referendum of section 108 and section 9 to apply to amendment or repeal should be somewhere.
Should it be in
See,
109?
well,
It could be in 109 and 108 as a letter.
Can we,
Yeah.
sorry, Dorothy, can we
Yeah.
not just change 108B to say within 40 days after the passage, amendment, or repeal of an ordinance?
Yes.
Okay, let's just add that phrase in there after passage.
Love it.
Thanks.
Yay.
Thank you.
Onward.
Hey, I guess I didn't suggest a good solution, only trouble. Okay, this is just a typo, I think. In section 302, D. So it's about section 302D, when an elected officer specified, blah, blah, blah. The person elected shall at the annual meeting serve until his or her predecessor's term expires. I just think the word order is messed up there. The person elected at the annual meeting shall serve. I think the word shall's in the wrong place.
Yes,
It's a,
it is in
Yeah.
that place.
okay?
Sounds kind of old-timey, I kind of like it.
It just means something completely.
Very good.
This is,
shall.
Yeah, no, I like it, it's appropriate to modernize that turn of phrase.
okay. Let's see. Section 303A each select board member shall be elected for a 3-year term. You just said in section 302D that when a person is running to fill a vacancy, they would serve until his or her, I'll come back to that, predecessor's term expires. So then I think that's confusing. If somebody's running for select board and it says each select board member shall be elected to a 3-year term, but up above in the prior section 302D it says finishing out a term, and I just wonder if you might want to say in there 303A, each select board member shall be elected for a 3-year term subject to section 302D for completion of the term of a vacated position.
Well, the other one is not an elected. It's not elected. It's appointed.
Well, it is elected.
It is
It's
elected.
appointed
It's
until.
selected by us.
No.
Oh,
We
okay.
appoint until the next town meeting,
Oh,
then there's
that's
an
right.
election
Got
for
it.
the remainder
Got
of the term.
Got it. I wasn't about. Yep.
Yep.
Subject to 302D, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Boom. Getting
Oh.
things done, Dorothy.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like that. Okay. Okay. This one, the town clerk shall be elected for a 3-year term and shall carry out the duties of town clerk as specified. Okay, so now I'm on,
Renumbered
304.
C, yeah.
304C, okay. I have to say, in the strongest possible terms, that I do not favor taking a step in the direction of having the town clerk be appointed rather than elected. I think we are seeing abundantly in our country right now that moving power up to the executive of whatever level you're talking about doesn't necessarily work out that well. And I really don't want, and I'll keep my language clean, but I really don't support moving this ability to elect our town clerk, who is responsible for running our elections, working with processes through the Secretary of State, not dictated by the town manager. I think that power to elect the town clerk belongs with we the people. And I feel so strongly about that I would not vote, no matter what the charter changes were, I would not vote for them if that's in there. And furthermore, I would try to get other people to feel the same way. I just think that really belongs with we the people, to elect our town clerk. I don't know what problem you're trying to fix there. I think
I can tell you very clearly what the problem is.
Okay.
There have been a number of elected clerks in a number of Vermont municipalities who have embezzled large amounts of money or otherwise failed to perform to the level required for the needs of running a modern municipality. And this is essentially, it's become a professionalized job such that it is more and more the case, as with the auditor, that there are qualifications for it which you do not necessarily get when you have an open election for the position.
I guess there is a recall process. I don't know that you do any better with I guess we haven't seen that. We've had good town clerks in
Agreed.
this town.
Yes.
And I don't, and I just really don't support, it's just a philosophical thing. I don't support taking that power out of the hands of the people to monitor, to handle our elections and putting it with the manager. I'm sorry, Mark, I just don't favor that.
The way it has worked, the last 2 town clerks, Ann Webster and
All right.
Mott, they announced their resignation. The board appointed the succeeding town clerk.
To fill the
There was a
remainder
period
of
of
the,
trial, and then they ran for office and were elected. So the voters had an ultimate say, but we did have a process of being able to vet and appoint and assure that the proper skills and deportment were there for candidate managers. So we kind of have a system that works.
Well, it depends on the clerk leaving office prior to the election for that to work in the way that you have laid out. I also, one point of clarification, we're the legislative body, not the executive.
this says,
Mark is the
appointed by
executor
by
for the
select board.
town.
Yes,
Um,
okay, at one time I had heard it as
That's
the
fine.
town manager, so, yeah, select board. Yeah, you are a legislative body, but you're not we the people.
Sure,
You're
no, we're the
your
representatives
hands
of
length,
you, the
your arm's
people.
length from we the, we elect you.
Yeah.
But we also do elect things directly.
Indeed, I would, yeah, I think that it's just one of these situations where the demands of the position have increased to the point where it's no longer something that can be filled by someone with just a sense of civic duty and not the formal training that goes along with that job.
We also have a great deal of difficulty getting people to run for office. But when we appoint, we have more people show up when we appoint, particularly with the
there's a way
select
to
board.
handle that now.
Hmm?
If nobody runs, which is what happened when Ann Webster was ready to step down, nobody
Right.
ran.
Right,
And so somebody was hired and then she ran.
correct.
But that retained that there's provision for that in here without any changes needed.
Right?
Yeah,
And
but
it
that-
keeps the power to elect them in the hands of
But
the
a
voters.
write-in candidate, if Ann hadn't stretched it over, a write-in candidate could have gotten it. With how many votes?
I forget.
15, 6, something like that?
I don't know.
So
I
you
didn't
could get
research that for the
anybody
meeting.
that would be in there, and then then it's a difficult process to remove them.
It's not that difficult, but I mean, it's
Well,
right in here.
I think it would certainly be the front page of that as an independent, and it would be crazy, but, well,
Your point
I'm
is
expressing
taken.
my opinion, I don't
Absolutely.
support it.
that's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
I hear your responses, but I don't support that. Also, it says that, in the same manner as the auditor may be appointed, and so, if you are gonna keep that in, the appointing the auditor is in 306D. And that is, I mean, fundamentally under there, it's nominated by the town manager and subject to appointment by the select board, but there's also a lot of stuff in there about having to be a registered or certified public accountant and requiring an audit by the end of June 30th, and I think it just might be cleaner if you didn't link it to the auditor language, the process. You could just say, would be nominated by the town manager and appointed by the select board.
Yeah.
In the town clerk area.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, because you
And I
don't need a
understand you still
CPA and
won't
you
vote
don't need you're not doing an audit and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think, okay, section 305, the treasurer, it's baffling to me why there's things in here that, okay, so we're going from appointed by the select board to the town manager, now to the executive.
Indeed.
Indeed, but they will deposit funds designated by the select board but they'll invest town funds as designated by the town manager, and they'll keep books and accounts as required by the select board, and they'll make reports to the select board, and I find myself. Well, it's just baffling to me why some of these are select board and some are town manager, and maybe you have reasons that you have them divided up the way you have, but I don't know why some are reporting to the select board and some are pointing to the town manager, and so I just thought that was confusing.
The items in B are a direct copy from state statute as to the roles of the select board, and it was changed in number 2 because that's the practice. Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. There's a different, more complex practice for approving of things to be paid and handing the money between the director of finance and the treasurer and the manager. There's a whole system to prevent any one person from having sole control over and being able to embezzle funds. So I don't know. It's more complex.
Okay, it's just
than
that if I were the
this.
treasurer and I was going to deposit funds as designated by the select board and invest town funds as designated by the town manager, I mean, it just seems a little funny to me that some of their things they do by, anyway, I'll leave that in your hands to consider, but it seems a little confusing to me. And in 3054, the attorney has added, including but not limited to the status of delinquent taxpayers and collection of taxes from the same. I guess I would say, including but not limited to summaries of the status of delinquent taxes and collection efforts, or something like that. Because I don't think the names of delinquent taxpayers, I don't think this should read in a way that suggests that you would actually bring delinquent taxpayer names to the select board meeting. There is a place where they're reviewed, and I know that, but I think people deserve a little privacy when they're struggling like that. So I think summaries would be appropriate for a select board meeting. I don't think individual people's tax delinquency should be discussed in a select board meeting.
Yeah, I think it's curious that the lawyer decided what we were interested in that instance.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't speak to that. Okay. Nice. There's a few positions that you, okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I know the time for this is limited, so I feel a little bad, but section 306, appointed officers.
Yeah.
You have some that are only appointed if needed. You know, the select board can't always turn on a dime, so if you need a grand juror, are you gonna put it on your next meeting in 2 weeks, or are you gonna, you know, how are you gonna find somebody? You might need somebody timely, so you might, I don't know if how that would really work in practice, because you're not really able to do things fast.
Well,
you know, you have
just
to
as
solicit
the
candidates.
Energy Committee has shown us, we can call emergency meetings if that's required, and we can act with exigency if necessary.
Okay, but you might have to solicit
Should
names.
we need to convene a grand jury? Nothing that I've done in my years of service in multiple towns.
Yeah, maybe
I think
you never have
we'll
to.
manage to do it.
Yeah, well, why don't you just, well, I don't know, maybe you just don't need those positions.
You realize I'm the appointed grand juror.
No.
You realize we haven't had a case where we've been called in 3 years.
You're also the fence viewer.
I know. Charter requires the appointment.
I know it.
Trying to get rid of that.
Yeah, we're getting rid of it.
It's at the top of your resume.
Yeah, running for fire.
I'm not opposed to eliminating unneeded positions,
Yeah.
but to have a process specified in the town charter, which is kind of our constitution,
Yeah,
that's
agreed.
impractical, then that was my concern.
Sure.
But you probably really just don't need those, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think we could, right? There could be a process which requires a grand jury to be seated, and it could be somehow up to us to be involved in that.
Section 306A, the select board shall appoint any officers required by the town's personnel regulations or this charter or state law or town ordinances. I'm happy to know that, because recently there has been no appointment there has been a situation where this
Understood.
did not happen, but you don't say when. And when I raised with one select board member that, the town ordinance that specifies the appointment of the Design Advisory Committee says that the select board shall appoint. I was told, well, it doesn't say when, so it was, so there was no violation of that because it doesn't say when, so they just didn't do it yet. Well, that isn't very satisfying. So, and this just says shall appoint, so it still, to me, leaves open that if the select board decides they don't like some committee, they just won't appoint to it, which I'm just really uncomfortable with that as a way of governing. I just got to say, I think if it says shall appoint, then you shall appoint, and not just not appoint because you don't like a committee. So I would say within 30 days of any vacancies, or within 60 days of any vacancies, subject to the availability of candidates or qualified candidates or something like that, that actually is, that actually specifies an action. Otherwise, shall appoint just might not ever get around to it, and I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah, it tends to be timely manner language, which sometimes gets adjudicated.
Well, there isn't even yeah.
Yeah, and the third branch gets involved in trying to figure out what that means.
Well, I've considered that.
Yeah.
But I really don't want to go that way. But
Okay,
Yeah, anyway, so you could put something, you could even put timely. You could even put timely, or you could put 60 days of any vacancies subject to availability of qualified candidates or something. Because to have it argued back to you that shall means nothing because it doesn't specify a time, you know, that's been told to me.
understood.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. In section 307, recall of elected officers by voters, in section 3B, there's a whole process there for if the town votes for removal of an elected officer. And it's a little different than the process that's specified in section 301D, which is,
When someone steps down.
yeah.
Yeah.
But a vacancy, to my mind, a vacancy is a vacancy, so I don't know why you wouldn't just say, I mean, I don't want to say it that way, that sounds negative. So I might suggest that you, consistency in those and say something like the office shall thereupon be filled as specified in section 301D or something.
I think that's a
Because
great idea.
vacancy is a vacancy. Instead of having two different processes for different kinds of vacancies. Okay. Section 308B, this is just a typo. Submit his or her name to the town manager as an applicant for the vacant or expired office with a letter. It says starting their qualifications, but I think you just want stating their
That's probably
qualifications.
right.
A spell checker wouldn't find that because it's spelled correctly, it's just not the right word. Okay, and section 308B,
What is it?
308B.
Yeah, so it's the first word in the third line of 308B.
You should be
See it
stating.
there, Fred, it says starting and should be taken. Okay. 5017C,
Yeah.
the select board shall require its appointed boards, commissions, committees, to all meeting notices and agenda along with all available information and documentation. I wondered about minutes. If the minutes would also, this is just to be posted on the town website, meeting notices and agenda, would they also post the minutes?
That's in section 504. Attorney added draft minutes should be posted and then
Well,
replaced by the approved ones.
504, okay, 504 is specifically about the select board's minutes. The select board
Oh.
has to keep an official record and post the minutes. And I did see minutes there, which I am happy about, but here you're talking about the select board requiring its appointed boards, commissions, and committees.
Yep, I think that approved
Minutes.
minutes should be added to that.
Yeah, approved minutes, that's a good, yeah, approved minutes, okay. Section 503C, 4 members. If 4 members shall constitute a quorum, and also we have that 4 select board members are required for any valid or for adopting anything. So I guess I just wanted to flag, is that what you want? It means if you have a quorum of 4 people, you're not majority rules with that quorum, you're everybody.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what you want.
Yep,
That's
Okay.
in the law.
yep, that's
Okay.
how it's done.
Okay, all right. Let's see, in section 503D, it talks about meetings of the board being open to the public unless an affirmative vote of the majority. Executive sessions are only for deliberation and all motions shall be voted except for actions related, this is the attorney added, except for actions related to conveyance, purchase, and or lease of real property for municipal purposes. Well, you know, there's some other reasons you can be in executive session, and you might, I wonder if here you just want to refer to the state law, say, or, you know, something in accordance with the state law rules around executive session. instead of writing out the exceptions that can go into executive session over again, just refer to the state law.
I think that we will, saying that we follow the
Open
state.
meeting law.
Yeah, the what?
Open meeting law.
The open meeting law, yeah, the open meeting law, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, and in section 505A, I wondered why you struck that, the select board may appoint commissions or committees as needed.
I assume that we thought we'd said it somewhere else.
That might be my guess, but I didn't.
Well, the subject of this section deals with really the select board's role with the manager and employees, and it's really out of place in this section, and it's the ability to appoint committees, as you pointed out earlier. And so we tried to change the title of the section to cover what it really is about. It's not really about appointing committees.
All right, I didn't see where it was earlier, but I'll look for that, and if not, I'll come back to the second hearing, so I won't take any more time with that.
Fair.
Okay. I was thrilled to see that in section 703, section 703 is oath, and I might keep that heading oath and insurance, since it's changed from bond to insurance. But I think it ought to not just be oath, because it is oath, so because since the attorney added the insurance aspect back to it. And without any offense to our esteemed town manager and assistant town manager, as you're saying, Andy, sometimes things can happen with elected or hired people. And just in a meeting today, I heard about a fairly large organization in the state where the withholding taxes were not paid to the IRS for 2 years. Yeah, you know, that's the kind of thing you do need to have some kind of insurance for. So, okay. So I was glad to see the insurance added back in, and I might just add that back on the title of that section also. All right, duties of the manager, section 704. I didn't have any problem with the duties of the manager, but as I read this, I started to be annoyed by the him or her, he or she, his or her. And I thought, why don't, it's not unusual to just use they, them language when you don't know a gender of a person, you don't know the gender of the manager, you could just say,
They, yeah.
They.
I think that's fine.
and,
That is simpler.
and incidentally, it would be more inclusive, but it also just would read better instead of his or her all the time. Okay, I'm almost done.
Awesome.
Great.
Section 707, absence. This says consent of the board. You might make that select board just for consistency. Section 902, time of holding. Section 902B, the ballot boxes, taking out the ballot boxes thing. I know that our state has very good laws around around voting. You know, our ballot boxes are open longer. Our ballot or public
12 hours
places
generally, yeah.
open usually 12 hours. Yeah, but I try to think what if all the time, and sometimes what if is far-fetched, but look at the world we're living in right now. Some of the stuff that's happening you never would have imagined. What if federal funds are denied because we're blue,
Sure.
or because we won't limit our polling to 4 hours, or what if there's some stupid egg thing like that, and our Secretary of State can't have such great laws. I thought, well, this language here doesn't hurt anything, so you can take it out and say the state laws are great, but you could just leave it in. It doesn't hurt anything. That's my suggestion. Okay, in section 1101, the zoning administrator. I see you'll want to consult with the chairs of the planning commission and the DRB. Would you also be consulting with the town planner? Or do you, for the appointment of the zoning administrator?
So one of the little changes that I noticed in here back in section 704 in L, the
Yeah.
staff added, he or she shall confer with the select board before appointing.
Yeah.
That actually was a change from what the board had seen before. And there's one other little change, but a good one. So it's not a big thing.
Okay. Yeah, but but you're specifying for the zoning administrator to talk with the chairs of the planning commission and DRB?
It's
But-
partly because state law says that for zoning administrators.
Okay,
And this is a way to follow, in some respect, what state law says, but
Okay.
also have it come through our process of nomination and
Okay.
approval, in hopes of getting this through the state legislature's review of charters more easily.
okay. I'm almost, okay, subchapter 13, section 1302, E. The select board's budget in its final form and the warning for the annual meeting shall be distributed to the legal voters of the town by posting on the town website with notice thereof to voters who have registered or requested such notifications. That's kind of like requiring to have the ballot boxes open for 9 hours, because the Secretary of State has posting requirements for elections, and I think they're stronger than that. I think it has to be posted in 2 different places, and I
Would you
don't
prefer
guess.
we just reference the state statute?
I think that would make sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe my last thing, it's a wild suggestion. Section 1308A, local option tax and other revenues. We have a housing crisis. We need housing in our town, in our state. We've talked about it. It's been a priority in some of these meetings. It's come up repeatedly. Could we include an option, which the legislature could reject, or, because they have to review this, but could we propose an additional tax on non-homestead properties, namely second homes, which are keeping, which could be people's primary homes?
Yeah.
It's something to think about as a tax instead of just local option taxes. I have some friends that might not be very happy I proposed that, but we're very short on housing.
Understood.
Okay,
Thank you very much, Dorothy.
thank you.
Thank you.
You're saving your powder, Jeremy?
Oh, I only got 4.
Okay. Ross, come on down.
Minutes or less, don't worry.
Yeah. And for folks who are worried about timing, we certainly expected that this would be a long meeting, and I am not going to deprive anyone of the time due for their agenda items. Ross, welcome.
Ross Conrad, thank you. I went through it too, and there's a few things I really appreciated, some of the comments there. I agree with a lot of them. Item 308B, allowing any person, rather than just any registered town voter, to apply for committee vacancies, I think is a mistake. I get it. You're trying to get more people to be involved and be on various committees, but to allow out-of-town folks who have no skin in the game, they don't have to live with the consequences of any decisions, votes that they take. I'm not comfortable with that. And I'm not sure that you really should be doing that.
Ross, one of the things that came up in the committee was like younger people, so people who might not be.
Right, so what you can
what would
do,
you propose there?
I would propose is changing the wording, instead of saying registered town voter, say any resident of town. And maybe give an age limit, 16, 18, or not. But that would open it up more without, inviting other towners to come and tell us how we're gonna run things.
Sure.
Okay. In 107C, requiring ordinance actions to be placed on the website with a summary, allowing select board to choose public notice option of publication other than a newspaper. This kind of thing appears all throughout this.
It does.
Very consistent.
Yeah.
I have to believe you guys believe in transparency
Of course.
government. So to put it on digital and take away the paper, I think is not in full keeping with that desire to be fully transparent. First of all, right now with paper, everyone has access. You just have to get to the library or get a copy, or you can get a digital thing of the paper sent to you. Not everyone has access to the digital. Not everyone owns a smartphone.
Everyone can go to the library again.
But
and get
not
those
if you no longer keep it at the library. And all through here, there's take it away from the library, just put it online. Don't put it in,
The library provides access to internet resources, is what I was saying, Ross.
Oh, I see.
Right, as
Well,
while they have a
well, that's
newspaper
fine.
archive, they also have
That's fine as long as we have electricity. If the electricity out, then all of a sudden, we don't have access. Now, luckily, our electric is fairly reliable, but it does go out on occasion
Sure.
and sometimes for extended periods. I think you should do, not instead of putting it on digital and taking away the paper, but do both. Add to it, don't subtract.
I was pushing for this language allowing us to modify our publication and record keeping as the decades pass without needing to go back through the charter change process. I thought that specifying a paper of record where all of these things happened could be constraining in the event where we find ourselves without a quality local newspaper at some point in the future, whatever may come to pass, and that this gives us the flexibility to do this by policy rather than by charter in the future. I expect there will be a lot of conversation when that policy comes up, and I have no interest in reducing access to the records of local government.
It's just the way it's written doesn't come across that way.
Okay, that was the intent. I think the committee members would all agree that this is the language we came up with to convey that. I'm sorry it doesn't speak to you.
No, in section 107, there's two places where this has to do with public posting ordinances that are proposed. It says published in a newspaper or at two other physical public posting locations. Should not be and there and down below.
Well, that's the thing. You say
See?
or, and that makes me think, well, you're going to do one or the other. You're not going to do both.
Well, and then in 501E, the top, select board shall annually confirm the newspaper, which may be augmented or replaced to provide similar or superior notice in hard copy and electronic means. So I think that refers to both, and section 107 uses the word or, which I think should be replaced by and.
You probably should go through, because all throughout this is a similar thing where you talk about switching to digital and it seems like you're going to be dropping the paper. And that caught my attention.
Sure.
Then up here, 902B. This was about removing the ballot boxes. And you were going to do that because it's covered by state law. But then you've got, where is it here? The one about announcing the meetings 24 hours before they happen. For some reason I'm not seeing it here. Oh, here it is. 503E.
What?
That's also state law.
I vote
But you're
they-
announcing that one, you're keeping that in here when you're taking this other one about the ballot boxes out. The other problem with the 503E is that actually the law, if you read it, says must be posted 48 hours to announce meetings. The 24-hour notice is only for emergency meetings, not regular select board meetings.
Right.
So it would be better, as was previously suggested, just refer to the law so that we don't accidentally put in the wrong information. It just helps cover us.
So it does say 48 hours notice for the meeting, as the lawyer inserted in blue.
Oh, he did? Okay, I didn't.
But 24 hours for the publication packet information is the limit that we're giving
Oh, I
ourselves.
see. Okay, that's your own internal.
We go beyond the open meeting law in terms of the packet information that we distribute. We felt that was important to continue.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. The 503B 2 through 5 about the treasurer, I really agree, and I think if you really think about it, the treasurer should have one boss, not two, with the town manager and the select board. I think you really need to revisit that and have it so the treasurer is always reporting to and taking direction from one source, not more than one, or you're going to make life miserable for the treasurers. Okay. Again, 1104B, you want to require minutes kept on the town website rather than printed copies in the libraries. I mean, you say this, it's definitely all throughout. You're saying more digital, not less printed. And I think all of it. I don't want to take time to go through every notice where you mention that, but it's all throughout. It's all throughout, and I don't think that's a good idea. Same thing with 501E and 1506, but that's the main thing. And those were the main points I wanted to make, so I don't need to take up any more of your time.
Appreciate it, Russ.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, 3 minutes.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'll be quick. Okay, mine are pretty simple,
Name for the
but I
record,
want.
just because.
What's that?
Name for the record. Just
Oh, sorry. Yes, Jeremy Rathbun. First, just wanted to start because pleases and thank yous make the world go round. Thank you to the committee members who worked hard on this. I know this was probably a lot of work to sort through the whole thing, and as a town citizen, I appreciate the hard work. So, just a few comments. Number one is the let's see here. Oh, there we go. Section 106, where we're talking about increasing the fine from $1,000 per offense to $10,000 per offense, and that can repeat weekly. That just seems excessive.
lot.
It seems like a lot. I can see where somebody could get themselves in trouble in a hurry. You know,
In an egregious pollution case, such as when someone puts oil in septage, and it costs the town $200,000, we should be able to fine and. But I don't think this is not going to apply to parking violations.
Well, that's correct. But
1972, $1,000 was a lot of money, and if you use the inflation adjuster,
yeah,
that's about $10,000 in today's dollar.
I guess my concern, Fred, is if somebody, you know, one person gets fined and one person doesn't, and they legally come back and ask what the difference is and why certain people are being fined and certain aren't.
Mm-hmm.
So why would somebody be fined $10,000 a week for the oil that went in the septage, and somebody else wouldn't get fined $10,000 a week for spilling oil on their land, right? A legal argument could be made that they're both a petroleum pollution. That's my concern is, yeah, I see where you're there, but I just want to make sure we're not creating something where like it could create an issue down the road. That's all. Because I think if it's applied to the average homeowner, maybe I'm being too worrisome about it, but that's my concern, that if it's applied to the average homeowner, it could be an issue.
It's a very high ceiling. I agree.
Yeah. I do completely agree with Ross on the 308B allowing, and I think that should be written for any Middlebury resident could serve on a town committee. I would also encourage you to set like an age limit of 16 to encourage some of the teenagers to get involved, as municipal civics and education is severely lacking in this country. Not necessarily in our community, but in the country. I as well share the hesitation of switching from elected to appointed positions. That being said, I totally understand Why the board has moved is concerned about that, because there have been a number of situations where elected officials have become a problem. But I think that there might be some consideration given before this is finalized to, if we are going to give the ability to appoint more positions, then that should stay under the bailiwick of the select board and not the town manager. So it stays in the legislative and not the executive. So at least the representatives of the people of the town would have a say in it, even if it's hiring of the town manager with approval of the select board or something like that. As it's written now, with the changes made to the town manager position in 704L, I read it, they no longer have to come and get approval to appoint people. They just have to confer. And that,
704L. Sorry, I'm trying to.
oh, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So it says the manager shall have the authority to appoint, fix the salary, suspend, and remove all employees of the town appointed to him, her, subject to the provisions of this charter. He or she shall confer with select board before removing or suspending the head of any department. But we've removed approval, right? So the way that it's written right now, if we have appointed positions that are done by the town manager, the way that's written, they don't have to talk to the select board at all, right? So they could just hire a treasurer without.
Well, except.
Unless I'm reading it wrong. But that's how I'm reading it.
Sorry. Scrolling. My thought was the language for the treasurer says.
We could.
The treasurer shall be appointed by the town manager.
We could do the treasurer like the auditor. You know?
Yeah. So that's why so those are my comments. I just think if we are moving to more appointed positions, I think it would be really good to keep the select board involved as the representatives of the town citizens.
Very good.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Yep. Was it 3?
Nice and fast.
You did it pretty tight. Come on down.
Ellen Cronin. So my first comment is in the summary, and I thought it was interesting that the changes in timeline was not listed as a more significant substantive change, because I think the changes in timeline from 10 days to 40 days is really a tremendous change, and that was not considered substantive at all. Partly for some of the things that Dorothy said in terms of timing of how things are going to be enacted, but also just giving people the time to look at stuff so that we don't run into something like we just had at the state with Act 181, or just any example. But 10 days, you could be on vacation for 10 days. Giving that 40 days, I think, is a lot more helpful and a lot more reasonable for people who have a regular job. So changing that to me is substantive, and I don't quite get it, other than we want to make government work more quickly, and as a general rule, I would suggest that you don't want government to work more quickly, you want government to work more slowly.
There is a public hearing process before that, remember, so there is, we're just talking about the effective date.
That. But we also know that a lot of times people don't bother with stuff until it already becomes enacted. That's just the reality of dealing with humans. I would agree with most of the comments that Dorothy made, and also what Ross suggested about posting paper in the library. This office is opened on a very limited time for anyone who has a regular job, and there is no free internet or free devices other than the library, and the library's open one evening, at least right now, and 4 hours on Saturday. Maybe that's going to change when the library is open later, but that's kind of limited. And you also only have 1 hour on a computer at the library. So having paper, I think, makes a big difference. And there's also a lot of people who really have trouble with the computer. So having a paper copy at the library, I think, is a really important thing for all of the changes that have been talked about here. You mentioned the embezzlement issues, and I find it interesting to discuss changes in the charter mentioning because of the embezzlement, but yet changing the timeline of review from monthly to quarterly. So Fred, based on a comment that you had said earlier, that section I think is probably taken directly from statute or considered maybe more specific from an auditor perspective. but reporting monthly is certainly going to help prevent any specific issues in that instance. So I think you guys have given it some good thought, and as discussed both by Dorothy and I think Jeremy just discussed it, the reporting issue of the treasurer to the select board or to the manager, I think all of that should be straightened out and be a little more straightforward. If we're going to list the specifics of when they need to report, I think it should be clearer, or not do it and just say that it's going to be by the appropriate auditing practices. So those are my major comments. I got to say I agree with pretty much everything that Dorothy and Ross said. I would disagree with Jeremy about $10,000 being too much for the reasons that you guys stated. And I also want to thank you guys for putting all the effort into this, because it was obviously an incredible amount of work. And it's important that we are up to date, because two of you might not be legal, since the charter right now states that there's only supposed to be 5 select board members, right?
It says we can. It says we can increase it to 7.
Oh,
but we have.
Yeah. Okay.
We're not going back.
All right, good. I'm glad you're over.
Let's vote on who should be illegal.
So the other thing I was wondering about is, this is a very long process, and right now the guidance document states that there's going to be a special town meeting, an Australian ballot vote cast, and we're going to be doing it 2 months before our town meeting. So the question is, how much is that going to cost us, and why is it so important to do it 2 months before our meeting when we're all going to meet anyway?
Well, that is an issue. I mean, the schedule has been modified in the materials that you have. We were going to have this, we consulted with the town clerk, we were going to have this vote at the general election in November for the best turnout, and it's been changed so that we would have it on a special town meeting, this issue only, January 19th, January 2027. Our idea was to get this actually into the legislative hopper sort of
At the start,
at the
I get that.
and we had thought, in consultation with Karen Mott, the town clerk, we had talked about a special meeting before November, but she said it'd be best to do it then, and so I don't know what the reason for changing the schedule was.
Any other reasons?
It just seems like it might be expensive.
Yeah.
And we have 2 other options.
Agreed.
I mean, if there's November and there's March, why are we doing something new in January?
Yeah, I thought we'd agreed to November.
We agreed in November.
So, anyway, that's just my comment.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Thinking we would hold a special town meeting and voting here, so I don't think there would be substantial additional costs.
When she was before us, we talked about whether it made sense to do it with the general election.
Yeah,
And
and she thought there'd be a lot of absentee. This packet has to be posted for every voting, according to the
What's also a
state
big
statute.
election year.
The idea of having people look at this beforehand and encourage people to come in and vote beforehand, without it cluttering up the polling place as busy as that will be in November, was what we were thinking. Maybe she's worried that won't happen in the polling place. Where did this come from, this January?
I think she has since changed her mind about, we did originally talk about November. I think she thought a special town meeting would be a better option for us. It's all subject to change.
Okay.
We need to hear about
We
that.
should
Yeah.
It needs to come before us.
yeah. Yeah, I thought we were in agreement on November, so that's a,
I thought it was because it was a big election.
yes.
Are we still on that timeline that we could do it in November?
Well, we have to have a hearing, a second hearing in August or in early September in order to do that.
Okay.
There should be time to do it.
Okay. So we'll just check in with Karen and see if that's
We'll check.
a typo or an actual change that
She'll
she
remember.
wants to make.
She has to come before us if she wants to change that.
I think there was a ballot printing deadline that impacted it. So, but we'll
Yeah.
talk to her and confirm.
Good. Okay. Anyone else care to give comments during this public hearing? All right. If there are no further comments regarding the proposed charter amendments, I will call the public hearing closed.
Thank you.
That was good.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We should schedule the second hearing, I believe.
And then we'll
Yeah.
have to,
Do we have a recommendation for a second here?
We did. We talked about that a little earlier. I think we said the second meeting of August.
August, yeah.
Second meeting of August.
The 25th.
The 25th, yeah. And we would publish it in the newspaper on the 14th.
And then the posting would be next week.
So we should
Physical postings.
go through this available motion for August, you said 25th?
Yep. And let's give it the same time if we can. Just to avoid any technicalities.
I move,
Yeah, you will.
to,
Read it.
sorry. I skipped
The second
ahead.
motion.
I wasn't ready.
Neither was I, that's why I didn't do it.
I move to schedule the next select board public hearing for further public input on the proposed charter amendments for August 25th.
Second.
Second. Oh,
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
okay.
Aye. Very good. We'll have a second, we will have some action on that.
One thing just for clarification, because we will have to renotice
Yep,
for the second public hearing, and if we made revisions,
yep.
are we going with
When do we have to get
the
those
mark-
to you?
Well, we'll need to submit the revised versions to the town clerk, and we'll need to post this by next week, so.
By next week.
Yeah,
Okay.
posting. So
If
which
there are
would include-
changes based on testimony tonight.
The notice will be a summary, not the full-length version, or else we'll take up the whole paper to print this. But that summary's gotta be based on either the legal counsel review or the one you approved at the last meeting, so.
Right.
So that raises the question, are there things that we received testimony on that we want to talk about putting in or not putting in? We're probably going to do that in the next few days.
How about the committee do that and come back to us?
Yep, we could meet.
I think that's the answer. All right, the committee will get together and figure out a time to do that.
We weren't going to have a... Okay.
We're getting the band back together.
Oh, amazing, I can't wait. All right, moving on. It's now 7:40, of course, and so it's time for the infrastructure committee. Emily Charrington, come on down. You're the next contestant.
We, starting with the gas sludge dryer conversation, gas or electric. The engineers came to the most recent infrastructure committee meeting and also met with energy committee leading up to that. We've been working pretty extensively with both Mike Roy and Rich Wolfson on the effort. And at the infrastructure committee meeting, it was determined that the best alternative was to move forward with a gas dryer recommendation. I think you'll recall back in January, I believe, early January, we came to the select board, presented the solids handling proposal with a number of different options for drying the material. And in that, we received permission to move forward with a sole source purchase from BCR, which is the dryer that we're still proposing to utilize. And since then, we've just been developing out the process of actually designing that system and the best fit for the town. I'm guessing there's a lot of questions.
So, I don't want to delay anything, but the infrastructure committee had the benefit of going through the whole presentation.
They did.
The other board members have not had that, except that it recommended they view that, and So,
Just a quick poll, did anyone look at the infrastructure committee?
It was about as dramatic as some of my reality TV shows. Like, I was locked in.
Very good.
It was great.
I haven't gone all the way through, but
Okay.
I'm pretty deep.
Yeah, very good. So I think this board is fairly caught up.
okay, yeah, I actually had a question. Let me see if I can pull it up. And my question, okay, without pulling anything up, my question is there for electric and gas, the electric does have a $1.2 million more to install, but there's a $560-some thousand rebate possible. But at 20 years, there's a graph that shows that the electrical will have the 20-year life cycle is going to be $10.5 million, and the gas is only $2 million.
Is that presentation in the packet?
Yes, it is.
Can we pull it up just so that everybody can see it at the same time? You're on track. I think the numbers that you gave are slightly off. I think the electric version upfront cost was about a 1.1 million additional cost, and then there was a rebate granted by
Page 12.
Green Mountain Power, but we have to make the initial capital investment,
Yes.
and then we get the incentive.
Yes, and more than likely our bond will not cover that. But
Correct.
the other thing I want to say, there was an analysis of ratepayers and what they would be paying in year 0, 7, and 20 and something like that.
I don't think we should put much on. So
let me finish.
Sorry.
Let me finish. My question showed that the ratepayers are pretty much going to pay the same for no matter what we fill it with. So if electricity is going to cost $8 million over $20 million, somebody's got to pay for that $8 million, and that's going to be the ratepayers. So that's not calculated in that ratepayer scale is incorrect.
The ratepayer scale is on an annual basis per household.
Yes.
Not per town. So it's like divided by the number of users.
Yes.
I think what makes me very nervous about that graph is that I built it out based on a 4% increase over time. That is not what we've had, at least in my time here in the wastewater budget. It's been higher than that.
Yes.
And so already it's on the very low end. If we have an expensive project like a pump station upgrade or other capital investments that will be needed in this system that is all sort of equally aging out, we're gonna see costs go up. We also have our tax rate going up. We also have our water rates going up. So we can't just look at a wastewater rate and say, oh, it's only $100 more a year. I mean, the other component of our rates is that our industrial users are a huge contributor to our overall budget, like 45% of our budget. If we lose one of those big ones, that is all being absorbed by our users.
So one of the issues if we raise our rates that high, or we could conceivably drive away one of our big users. But I still don't understand where the $8 million is amortized. Where is that placed in that rate structure? If I say gas, over the 20 years, the ratepayers are going to pay $8 million less over 20 years for gas than they are for electrical. But
because that included the industrial users and it spreads it out over 2,000 households or whatever.
But then gas and electric comes out the same. That's not possible.
Over 20 years.
If over 20 years, if at the end of 20 years, if electrical is if the ratepayers are paying the same if they were using gas or electric, there's $8 million difference in there that somebody's paying for, and it's certainly not the big users. It didn't get all put in theirs. It had to be spread out over everybody. So gas would be significantly lower for the ratepayers than electricity over a 20-year period.
Yeah, but if you're dividing by 20 years, divided by 8,000 ratepayers, that $20 million turns into whatever, $100 a year.
It's
What
just
is
the way it's broken out.
Right.
Would it work out to be $100 a year? Oh,
130 is what was,
Yeah.
they were told.
I think,
Okay.
so I
That's
think,
it. I didn't know.
That's how you get to $20 million.
That's right, there will be lots of
I
other
would-
costs that will
I
go. We're
would
just
not-
looking narrowly
Yeah.
at the difference between natural gas and electric. And
Got it.
that was $138 a year.
So the 8 million figure just represents that difference over the course of 20 years.
over the life cycle of
Over
the
the life
equipment.
cycle.
You,
But the
then
impact
so,
on the ratepayer from year to year is similar. But they end up paying.
they pay more
$8 million
for
more.
electric, and there are so many variables that are not accounted for in that ratepayer graph that it really makes me nervous even diving into it, because they're one of the major components that isn't built into the electric cost is the cost of maintaining it. Their numbers are based on just what a regular journeyman would cost to come out and work on equipment. Those are not regular journeymen coming out to work on that piece of equipment. It's a megawatt of electricity. Like, our guys in our plant would be able to work on the gas dryer. We would save that additional cost. We're not touching that thing if it goes down. You have to bring people in to work on it. You have to get specialized parts. So all of those costs are not equated in there. They were just doing a flat line cost comparison of labor. So that could be a significant difference that's not even in the number, seen between the 2 million and 10 million numbers.
I think that, no, this is what was shown to the infrastructure committee, this graph, and how close these lines were.
Yep.
That's what Dan's referring to.
Yep.
I know, I'm aware of that.
And it's worth noting that Dean Raynham, who's the operator right now, gave a compelling statement of why he thought the natural gas burner on this particular dryer would be something they could service as opposed to the electrical heated one, which has a giant electric hot water heater, electrode kind of system. Oh, there he is. He can speak for himself, but and you put it in perspective, the whole plant has a lot of electrical usage. It's going to require 2 or 3 new generators. If we went with the electric dryer, we would require another 2 generators. So they're already dealing with huge electrical loads and big circuit breakers already in the plant. And those need to be upgraded so they aren't so finicky. That's a nice word, but Dean, please speak about the differences.
Between the gas and the electric?
Yeah. As an operator.
As an operator.
As an operator? First of all, I think it's really important to note that we piloted an electric dryer to test all of this, make sure it's going to work. That was a very small dryer in the back of a tractor trailer. That's the only electric dryer that this company has out there. They do not have any experience with a commercial sized dryer that we would need. All of their dryers that are out there on a commercial level are natural gas fired. So not only the size of it and the amount of electricity, we're going to be a guinea pig, so to speak. This will be the first of its kind in the Northeast, probably in the United States. So there isn't even any operator experience with a machine of that size. We don't know exactly what we're getting into.
Question about that. Is this the first of its kind in the Northeast with this particular model of dryer, or are there other dryers in the Northeast or in the United States that commercially use electric?
Must be some wastewater plants out there that aren't on gas pipelines.
Yeah, but they're probably using different technology than what we're looking at based on the options. So, but you know, that being said, like I said before, we're wastewater operators. We aren't high voltage licensed electricians. We can do a lot of the maintenance on the natural gas fired unit ourselves. Pretty simple stuff, easy to be trained on. But we aren't going to be able to do much with the electric. You're basically going to have to subcontract somebody to maintain that unit, and that kind of scares me a little bit. You're getting away from in-house service and subcontracting something else.
Does the company have anything to say about that? Like, or is it just kind of like,
Yeah.
we built it, we want to sell it to you?
BCR. I think our engineers did a thorough analysis of 5 different types of dryers, and within that looked at different companies within those qualifiers, and they determined that the BCR is the best model to fit our plant. And so that's why we came to the select board back in January to move forward, because it is sole source. Nobody else is doing those in the country. So that's why we had to get sole source permission from the select board to be able to move forward with that instrument.
And it's the only one that'll fit in the footprint we have,
Right, which was a
huge
significant
factor
consideration.
without building new buildings,
I think
which is hugely expensive.
another thing that the town should remember is roughly 26 years ago, we built a new wastewater plant. And at that time, we invested in a state-of-the-art, never been done before in the Northeast, lime stabilization solids handling process. It didn't work. The town then spent 6 years, 6, 8?
Believe it was
Okay.
6
In
in
thank you.
litigation.
In litigation, to get our solids handling up to meet permit requirements. So I think we have seen what happens when you act as the guinea pig in these situations, and it's a huge investment, and it just really makes me nervous making it. I understand the desire to reduce carbon usage and reduce gas usage, but I don't think this is the place to do it. And I think we are going to have significant energy savings elsewhere in the plant, and we are going to make great energy improvements in this overall upgrade. I mean, we're updating equipment that's 26 years old. And so I think overall we are going to see a net positive improvement, and I understand the concerns, but I don't think this is the place to do it.
To me, it's with the land application question, the emerging chemicals, PFAS in particular, we're looking ahead towards those possibilities, and drying our sludge is just plain a necessary evil, unfortunately. We have to get rid of that water. We've got to reduce the volume and the tonnage, either way, whether we end up landfilling it or we can still land apply. We need that reduction, and that makes drying a necessary evil.
And that was one of the major considerations in choosing this particular piece of equipment, was that we could add pyrolysis onto it on the back end if PFAS becomes an issue with land application. That way we could still have that end treatment with this dryer. Wouldn't it be a possibility with all the dryers that were looked at?
I don't think there's any question that we need to have the level of treatment, the heat, to deal with the pathogens, and get the quality of drying that we're talking about. It's just, listening to the Energy Committee, they were, you know, are there really no other industrial boilers in our country that can heat mineral oil to 400 degrees?
Not that our professional wastewater engineers found and wanted to recommend to support the town's interest.
Okay, I thought maybe they were just looking at what BioScrew offered and not other units.
They,
but
I mean,
I guess that was the question. It was just, it was a surprise to the committee that that we would be a guinea pig with the electric option. Anyway, there's some of them are here and they can speak about their concerns more.
Are there other board questions before we invite the
Yeah, I have
Energy
another
Committee member? Yeah.
Yeah, that was my question. I don't know if I worded it quite right before, but that was my question. But my other question is, can you talk a little bit about, we can see the comparison in cost, but can you talk about the comparison in greenhouse gas emissions between like what we're using now? You talked about how even if we do the natural gas one, we will be reducing emissions. How much and how does that compare? How do the different options compare in the scheme of trying to meet our emissions goals?
I think it was earlier than this. Yeah, slide 4 maybe.
That's the last, it's the last slide.
Oh, is it at the very end? Sorry, I sent you a rye.
The last slide?
That's the last slide, before the thank you.
So we did,
There it is.
yeah,
So these are all the different solids handling options that they considered during the effort.
so thermal drying is the lowest
So
of any of the
this
options.
is electric, this is gas.
Right.
Right.
And where are we now?
Both.
Like how does that compare to where our emissions are right now?
We're not on that chart because the system that we use is no longer really in production.
Okay, well, of course, but I mean, but you mentioned in either the minutes, in one of these meetings that this, even the gas one would reduce our emissions. So I'm curious what that number was.
I was saying our energy use at the plant is going to reduce in the upgrade.
So we don't know, we don't have a figure on what our emissions are.
The one reassuring thing here is regardless of what type of fuel we go with, this process provides the least amount of greenhouse gas to get us there, to get us to the end process, to the end product. So,
Can you elaborate on that?
so we've agreed we have to dry the sludge.
But this was the January decision as to which method we were using. Right. Whatever this stands for. And we chose this technology, but we didn't make the decision about which fuel. And it's turned out that the fuel operating cost is and capital cost is quite a bit less. But you know, we don't really right now account for the greenhouse gas impact of the whole lime process, because the manufacturer of that lime that we buy shipped from Quebec is a huge
absolutely
impact.
Yeah.
So we don't really have that comparison, but we were going to do away with that old technology anyways.
Thank you. My lungs, thank you.
Can you talk about how at some point in this we have two options, so natural gas and electric, and then sometimes we have the added renewable natural gas, and where that kind of plays in? And if we were to go with natural gas, like how can we as a select board, if that's the way we choose to go, pursue renewable natural gas? Or would we have to make the motion in that certain way? or
Don't
things like
even
that.
have to make that decision tonight.
Oh, okay.
Really, I mean, really the only decision that we need made is gas or electric in the immediate. My understanding from the renewable gas option is that we don't have to, you don't have to make a long-term decision. We could get into a contract to purchase renewable natural gas from them, and I think, my understanding, I invited them to be here, but they weren't able to. If they were, a year later, if we decided not to, we could drop that contract and just go back to regular natural gas.
It's
kind
of magical. We're not gonna get renewable gas delivered there
Yeah.
to do it. It gets mixed into the system, and
We're paying the premium.
we're paying the premium
That
to
goes
say
to the
that we're
digester.
To support the
Well, you
idea
have
of
the
it.
option to pay the
Right,
premium. You don't
exactly.
have to.
Right.
Right.
Indeed.
Right.
And that can be
Just so we can feel
decided
Right.
and debated at any time down the road. We just need the fuel decision to keep the engineers moving forward and keep this project going.
Other questions from the select board before I invite energy committee members? Thank you for your patience. Come on up, whoever has comments.
I have nothing to say about all those revisions to the.
You don't have charter suggestions?
Are you sure?
It's so much more interesting. So, thank you for having me. As I often say, like, this is exactly what I don't want to be doing, which is trying to sort of say, like, the one committee said something and we want you to do something other than what the committee said. So here we are. So we had kind of an emergency meeting at 6:30, which apparently was broadcast in this room. So that's what the whole notion of a public meeting is. So it's great. I love it.
You already know what you said. You already know what you said.
You know,
At least how soon we will.
So it felt important that we as a committee be able to kind of weigh in. So I had my own thoughts, but I realized it'd be much better to kind of use the committee structure that we have to make sure that we are, that you all appointed the entire committee to think about these questions. So before so I've got a couple of prepared things to say. First thing I did want to say before I go there though is just there is these numbers that we saw around 2 million versus 10 million or whatever, all turn on the notion that gas and electricity will in lockstep go up 2% a year over the next 20 years. As Andy and I exchanged texts over the weekend, the odds of that actually happening are vanishingly small. Like, it's just unknown what's going to happen with the price of electricity and the price of gas. So I think you just need to be aware as you're making these calculations that it could be the case that electricity prices go completely through the roof and gas remains super cheap, and you'll be like, gosh, I really wish we hadn't done the electric because that's really expensive. And then vice versa, it could be a case that gas, the federal government or the state government could decide like it's time for a carbon tax, and all of a sudden the price of gas is going to go up considerably over that period of time, and maybe Bill McKibben would be right, and solar and wind and batteries will drive the price of electricity to zero, and we will be like, damn, I wish we bought the electric when we got the gas. So I just think it's important just when you're looking at those numbers, those are numbers that are, they're good faith estimates, and you have to, it's important to boil things down, but I also think it's important to just acknowledge the complexity and the uncertainty in that. So anyway, the two things that I want to say is one, that going with gas, the natural gas, not the renewable natural gas, will increase town emissions by 500 tons a year. It'll be 10,000 tons over the 20-year life, and that the goal, by going with that route, the goal of getting our emissions down to under 200 tons a year will never be met. So you just should be aware that the implications of that choice, the select board some years ago made a commitment to doing that. The energy committee spends countless hours trying to figure out what can we do within town operations, and so we're not here to say today like go electric. What we're asking really is that you pause and really dig in. And so the couple of things that we think need more digging into. First, is really understanding the emissions of renewable natural gas. So Vermont Gas will tell you it's 0. If you read the literature, it's not 0, it's more than 0. We have not, this all happened really quite quickly, not on the timeline that we'd expected. And so we would really appreciate a little more time to understand, is renewable natural gas the silver bullet that will be like, yes, we're so happy that we can go with the cheaper, easier to run, easier to manage gas solution and have 0 emissions. Like, that would be great. I'd love that if it were true. We just feel like we need to do our due diligence and figure out, is that true or not? And then the second is really thinking about the kind of risk around being the first customer. And so trying to figure out having some conversations with the manufacturer, for example, to say, would you give us a service level contract so that you will guarantee this amount of uptime, or would you do a financially backed service level agreement so that you will pay us if you don't hit the uptime? I think there are mechanisms that you can use to mitigate risk, and I just feel like we need to kind of spend a little more time than rushing into this decision. So what we're really asking is just pause, take a beat, think hard about do we really want to just blow away our commitment to reducing our greenhouse gas emissions, and also really giving us a chance to understand both the renewable natural gas emissions context, and then really trying to dig into this risk question. I am sympathetic as somebody who's been run operations in different places, that being the first customer is scary, risky, but I just feel like there's more work to be done. My sense is that this is an established company, and so there's probably ways to have conversations with them, do a little more research just to feel comfortable, confident that this fear is well founded, and so those are the two things that I wanted to say. I think there's some other members that wanted to say a few words. I don't know if you want to ask me questions or you want to wait till somebody else.
Did you mean to say 500 tons or 50 tons a year?
500.
In the minutes it says 50 tons here.
No, that's the electric is 50 and the gas is 500.
It says natural gas units produces 50 tons of CO2 per year.
That is not.
I think it's a typo.
It's a typo. It's 500.
Okay. And then you mentioned that if we become the guinea pig, if we are the first one to use it, you might buy into convincing them to come service your units, right? But there will be a downtime if it breaks down.
I'm not saying that that's the solution. All I'm asking is that we take a beat and dig a little deeper into it. So I don't know. There would be downtime if, with the way that I've done financially backed service level agreements, there's a huge incentive for there not to be downtime because the company loses money during the downtime, and so there may be.
It's effectively liquidated damages tied into a service level agreement where you say, right, if we're down for 2 days, the cost to the town is this. You, the manufacturer, will bear that if this is a maintenance related issue.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they may very well, because the breaking news is the future is electric. They probably want to sell one of the things. There's probably some motivation for them to break into that market, because this is the future. In 20 years' time, it'd be very unlikely that we'll be having a conversation about gas. I think we're going to be all electric in 20 years, and the question is just how quickly we're going to get there.
Do you feel like it's the Energy Committee's ask to push this decision to the 28th meeting or to the August 11th meeting?
I was understanding that there wasn't a 28th meeting.
Let me ask a basic question in the contract. What's the timeline in the contract, or what's the timeline for this decision, and why do we have that timeline on the decision? So,
We needed the decision for early August.
and why is that?
It will delay engineering. It'll
How does it?
cost us money.
How will it delay engineering?
Because it's all process engineering, and so they need this to start formulating the next step. We're sort of right at the 30% level.
Okay.
And it's just how it works.
There's a whole great big system that they're designing, and there's one part of a system that just heats something. So So I'm just
A
trying to
little,
be
a little more complex than
Way more
that.
complicated.
Yes,
This
yes.
is this is an air quality issue. You're baking the
Yeah,
moisture
I
out.
understand
With a
what,
lot
I
of
understand,
stinky,
I understand,
moist
what-
air
I
and
understand
have
what you're
to
doing.
treat.
I understand, I
You need
understand.
air scrubbers.
I have been to every single briefing you've been.
Okay.
I understand that, I'm just trying to figure out how that fits into an engineering process and design process.
Well, we've already heard that we need 2 additional generators.
I got that.
Right, there's a whole lot of
They're
site things.
$800,000 generators, and we need 2 additional ones.
But
Like an electric boiler, maybe for less than that.
Yeah.
I think Jeremy has his hand up that could
I was
answer the
gonna,
question.
I could answer that question for you, because I know from when I was still superintendent work on.
Jeremy, please, come on down.
So, your electrical infrastructure, right, so depending upon the size of your dryer, that affects every single aspect of your electrical infrastructure. It affects the size of your electrical entrance, your transformers, your switchgear. That in turn affects the size of the main electrical entrance room, which affects the entire layout of the solids processing building. So that's why
got it.
it affects it.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's a little to it.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And is electrical resistance a good way to heat things nowadays? I mean, that's the way it's gonna heat, right? I mean, for a gazillion years, we were told not to use electrical resistance because it's so inefficient and uses so much energy, and we shouldn't be doing that. But now we're gonna heat these massive amounts of heating oil to astronomical temperatures with 400 degrees.
Well, there must have been a choice.
Alice, if you'd like to talk, you should please come to the microphone.
Both sides, huh?
So, you're right, electrical resistance is not the most efficient electrical way to heat things. In fact, heat pumps are. But the choice of the high temperature process precluded the use of heat pumps.
Right.
And that was made very, very early on, maybe even before the Energy Committee was involved. So the choice came to us whether it was electric or gas. And at this point, with this temperature, with this vendor, electrical resistance is the choice. It's about the same efficiency as gas. Let's be clear about that. So just not a lot more efficient the way that heat pumps are.
I never heard the heat pump solution ever.
Temperature is required to create a Class EQ biosolid to allow for land application.
Right. Right.
That was the determination.
I know that Dylan did have some remarks.
Dylan should come on down.
Dylan.
Wait.
I just have something quick to say, and then Dylan.
Please.
Hi, Gay and Murphy, Energy Committee. There were some questions about renewable natural gas. I'm speaking for myself, the committee did not discuss that today. But here's what I would like to say, because as a reporter, when I was at the Independent, I visited several of these. I was quite interested. I was, as a homeowner, an early cow power supporter. In my mind's eye, when you say renewable natural gas, I was envisioning something like, a pipe that went from the Goodrich farm to our wastewater treatment plant. But that's not what it is. If it was that, I personally would be extremely interested in exploring that option, but that's not what it is. What happens is they do what they do at Goodrich, that gets in the pipe, it heads, past Shard Villa, Halliday Road, and somewhere in there around Route 7, it connects to the VGS system. And the VGS natural gas is only 2 to 6% renewable natural gas in its mix. And of that 2 to 6% that is renewable natural gas, based on what I could learn today from the research I was able to do today, it mostly does not come from Vermont. 45 to 65% of it is now coming from a landfill in New York State. 20 to 35 is considered to be from Goodrich. 10 to 25% is from a landfill in Quebec. And 5 to 15% is from a wastewater treatment plant in Iowa. So if you purchase the renewable because you are concerned about greenhouse gas emissions, you are in fact paying a higher price and getting what everybody else gets. And what I could see today in the research is climate experts basically see renewable natural gas, yeah, if you could go from the farm pipe to your system, it would be fantastic. But when it just goes into the whole system, it more often than not sugars out as greenwashing and is just used to further natural gas infrastructure. So that's all I have to
Wait,
say.
can you clarify, is that because of the emissions that it takes for it to travel here? Is it the distance, or what is it? What do
Well,
you mean by what everybody else is getting?
So,
Beck, ask me again. I'm
You
not-
said you said that it turns out you're just getting what everybody else is getting. What do you mean by that?
What I mean is, when you pay for renewable natural gas, you don't literally get renewable natural gas. The molecules mix such that the gas you get is 2 to 6% renewable natural gas, and the 98 to 94% fossil gas fracked from Canada. And so that's what I mean. You can't literally deliver the renewable natural gas to your plant
So
or to your
we're already
home.
getting renewable natural gas in our gas pipes. Right, already getting it.
Only
Right. So
2 to
there's no such thing
6%.
as just renewable gas.
Unless
But
you had a
thi-
dedicated
again,
pipeline.
This is the same as when previously we had the opportunity to pay for renewably generated electricity. It just meant that GMP was buying it, and it didn't mean we were getting those electrons. Here we are subsidizing this more sustainable energy source by paying a higher rate, which goes through VGS to the suppliers.
One would like to think that you were promoting a more sustainable source, but there's a lot of critique of that, Andy, that says, in fact, you're not. You're just supporting natural gas as a infrastructure.
Okay.
So I just wanted to put those numbers out there because I had envisioned, Goodrich Farm to me.
Sure.
But that's not
Yep.
the product that's delivered.
Thanks.
Good evening. I'm Dylan Voorhees. I'm on the Energy Committee. I want to make some of my own comments. And again, maybe you've heard all of my comments already too, but really is important, I think, to understand. This is the most consequential energy and climate decision that any of you will make on this committee, no matter how long you serve. And so I think that's part of, when it boils down to it, what is sort of frustrating about the process is the magnitude of the greenhouse gas consequences of this decision don't really feel on par with the process. And so what Mike has asked for is really a pretty modest expansion and slowdown of your process given those consequences. We're really excited on the Energy Committee, and I know you all are, about the things that this town is doing, the energy navigators to help people get a heat pump in their home, getting a heat pump for the teen center, thinking about electric vehicle purchases. All of that is really important. It's valued stuff. And it doesn't hold a candle to the magnitude of the greenhouse gas consequences of the single decision about electric versus gas. The entire town greenhouse gas, the municipal emissions that we have reported to you not that long ago, if you go back and look at that presentation, it's about 598,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas. That's the total, that's our total footprint. Right, and so Megan, you were sort of asking about this, and if you want to pull that chart up, this project would add 500,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas. Our target, as Mike was referring to, is something like 200 or thereabouts, right? So we have a goal. We're at 600. We're trying to get to 200. This one adds 500. And so it is effectively a decision to abandon the town's targets and commitments to reducing to those amounts. And that decision you don't feel is in front of you, but it is in front of you. And so I don't think the folks in Middlebury understand that that decision is being made. And I don't think hasn't been the job of the infrastructure committee to consider, are we prepared to abandon those greenhouse gas commitments? It's not really their job. And so there's sort of a decision-making disconnect, right, that I think is in place here.
One comment on the idea that we're adding 500 metric tons, which is that, as Fred was pointing out, right, we're currently importing a lot of lime, which has in its manufacture an incredible amount of energy that is not on our books.
Yeah,
which we will not be doing in the future. Right, it's about the scope 1, 2, and 3,
right,
and how you look at this. And there's some scope 3 reduction while there's a scope 1 increase in this project.
Totally fair, Andy. But there's also lots of other scope 2 and 3 stuff for the town.
Absolutely. All over the place.
I think that's right, and if you want the energy committee to go to scope 2 and 3, we'll just need a small increase in our budget.
Yeah,
but we'd be happy to do that.
I'll give you
But I still don't think I don't think that that the select board, that really anyone sort of is thought about it in these terms. There's some good discussion about the costs, the ratepayer costs. Great questions, Dan, and it really is interesting to see $8 million disappears pretty quickly.
I wasn't looking at the multiplier of how many 800 users times 130 over 20 years.
But what Mike said is really important. We do not know what those numbers really are. There's a range in there. I think it might have been 90 to 130 or something like that. If it's 50 to 150, if it's 25 to 250, we don't know. You also don't know whether the folks in Middlebury think, even if it was $200 a year, is that worth paying to keep some hope alive that we would be contributing to the climate crisis in a constructive way. We just don't know that. We're not also going to know that in a month, but maybe with a little more process and a little more socialization, you would have some more confidence to make a decision than I think you should be tonight. I won't go into the process. I've felt this process has been pretty dissatisfying, honestly, and I know that the folks on the infrastructure committee and the staff are really trying to do their job well. And I've worked in this industry as an energy consultant and policy person working with state and local governments for 20 years. It is not easy. It's really not easy for legislators who are not subject matter experts. And I think they have done their job well, but I just don't think their job is to make some of these considerations. There are many alternatives that I think were not considered, are not really on the table. Really doing solar, we do not really look at solar thoroughly. Looking at a dual fuel system, these are all decisions that probably would have had to have been made before the decision in January to sort of go with this sole source. Once that decision is made, I think we would say that narrowed the range. But this was not a full alternatives analysis, and that's not what we're asking for.
What really can be done in a month? What really could be done that might make a difference?
I think what Mike suggested are a couple are really about understanding the risks of this technology, because that to me feels like it's the piece in the room. The costs are real, and nobody should throw around $100 a year for folks easily, but I'm not sure that cost really is justifying this decision. But I think the concerns that you've heard from your staff about managing it and that risk, I think doing a little bit of diligence on that is possible in that amount of time. And I think it gives all of us a chance to think about the consequences of the greenhouse gas decision, and what does it mean for the town of Middlebury to make a decision that says we're not doing that anymore. We can't afford to. And if that's your decision, then you should own that decision. And so I encourage you to be thinking about that decision over that time as well. Thank you.
Welcome back, Jeremy.
Thank you. Jeremy Rathman, your former wastewater superintendent. I'm going to get into a little bit of engineering, so just so folks know my background. I have a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering and Environmental from Clarkson University. I got my PE in Mechanical Engineering in the state of Vermont. I'm also a licensed Class 5 wastewater operator. I think it's incorrect and so as your former wastewater superintendent, I was very active in the design process, and I've also followed it quite a bit as all the public stuff has come along. It's why I'm here tonight, because it's important to me, because I'm interested in the industry. I'm still the vice president of the Green Mountain Water Environmental Association. Yeah, I think it's disingenuous to say that it was not a thorough review. It was a thorough review. It just was not done in a vacuum of only one issue. Greenhouse gases are very important, and our greenhouse gas limits are very important, but there are many other factors that are important. The factors of the upfront capital costs for the project are extremely important. Before I left, we were already cutting things out of the phase 1 project because construction costs are rising so high. Okay? So what the ratepayers is going to pay is important. The reliability of the equipment is important. Whether or not that equipment can be serviced by the staff is important. Okay? We can sit here all night and postulate about, well, I bet they'd want to sell us one so they'll give us a service agreement. We don't know any of that. We don't. We're just guessing. There's been no data presented that they're going to do this. There's been no data presented about any of this. And what we have done is we have hired professionals, professional engineers registered in the state of Vermont who do this day in, day out to do a thorough multi-level analysis of not only the greenhouse gases and the energy use, but upfront capital costs, life cycle costs, reliability of the equipment, how well all this is going to treat, how well we're going to be able to treat our biosolids, and they have all agreed that this is their recommendation. Furthermore, you have an operator sitting over there who's worked for this town for almost 30 years. And he has dealt with all the problems at that plant. And he is telling you what he believes is the most reliable and best solution for the town, and what he believes would be the best equipment for him to be able to reliably maintain in the future. And so I understand where the Energy Committee is coming from, but at a certain point, we can't just keep kicking the can down the road. And there were no numbers, charts, tables, or calculations presented tonight. But we got plenty of those from the engineering team that was hired. So if an engineering team that the town hires for a significant amount of money is going to come in here and give you their professional opinion about what they need to do, your infrastructure committee is going to vote to agree with that opinion. The guy who is responsible for operating the plant is telling you that's the right choice. Why would you consider not moving ahead with it? That's what I got to say.
Thanks, Jeremy. Pleasure of the board. Silence. It's the pleasure of the board.
You want to just go down the line and everybody have anything to say? Right?
Well, you've all seen the infrastructure committee minutes and their decision on it. We spent an hour at least going over all of this, and glad you were able to watch the video of that. Representing the committee, even though I wish we could do something with electric, maybe the scenarios that Mike says about energy price changes will be adding an add-on electric boiler someday in the future if we had to choose something else and get the natural gas pipeline will be our backup instead of electric generator. I don't know what will happen, but the information we have now that the committee looked at, they felt they had to recommend, and it was virtually unanimous, I think, that we proceed with the natural gas design at this time under these circumstances.
I sit on the infrastructure committee committee also, and that's why I recommended everybody to watch that. It was incredibly detailed and a good meeting. And for the last 15 minutes, I've been writing things down that I wanted to say. Jeremy clicked off every single one of them. town support, engineer support, operators concerns, and a design company that's supported us right from the get-go. Risk of electrical plant. I see committee approving this. Upfront capital costs. And in my heart, I want to be able to say electric in my heart, because I agree with them, and that's where I want to be. But there's a little statement here in our operating principles that says its relationship to the in its relationship to the members of the community, the select board affirms the select board represents the entire community at all times, and each select board member must seek a balance between being responsive to diverse and legitimate interests of individual members of the community and the need to consider the common good. And from time to time, those two may be in conflict. And those legitimate interests and concerns are committees, people in the committee. And this pains me, but I think I have to support this staff and the process that's going through. And I think I'm going to have to vote for gas.
I really think that this, I agree with a lot of what Dylan said, that this is a really important, consequential decision, and I don't think we should decide to just bag our goal of reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. I think that's really sad, and I think a lot of people in our community, to your point about the common good and about making decisions that our community would support, I think our community would be really devastated to learn that we just decided to give up on that goal. And I think it's really important that we take our time to make this decision right. I understand that we have a deadline, early August, and I really also hear the concerns of the staff. And I think it's a great idea to have a deeper conversation with the company about how they can ease some of that risk of being sort of a guinea pig. I'm not ready to commit to 20 more years of like enormous greenhouse gas emissions. I just think that that just feels crazy to me. So I'm having a hard time getting over that. Even though I understand it's a really difficult decision, and I understand like the concerns, I can't quite get over the fact that we're committing to 20 more years of what feels like a dying energy source.
As far as the delay, Emily has said they need a decision by August. We have some time.
2 weeks.
I'm skeptical of what would really change in that time, given what the testimony we've heard. But it is an important enough decision, and I agree with Megan that I don't know what the Energy Committee can come up with in that period of time that would have to persuade us differently. It would have to be huge.
Well, I mean, I was really new in January. I still feel very new. And I'm wondering if the Energy Committee had any inkling in January that this was going on. This decision was
They've known the
being
same
made.
length of time we've known.
They were at the meeting.
They've been at all the meetings. They've had time.
I just, it feels like.
I'm sorry, could I respond to that?
Yeah.
I too am new.
Yep.
And
Please come to the microphone.
what's that?
Please come to the
Come on
microphone.
Oh, sorry. I too am new, so I understand what that means. And unlike Alice and Rich, I'm not a physicist. And unlike Jamie, I'm not an engineer. And unlike Dylan, I don't work for VEIC. I'm a communicator, a journalist, and a writer. But one thing Dylan alluded to and that I have observed is that there has been a lack of communication and lack of transparency in the process, such that critical information that Rich needed to crunch numbers and really do a good analysis, the kind of analysis we would all want, was withheld, and we weren't able to get it. And critical information that I understood Rich was asking for in January or March, he didn't get till 2 days before the infrastructure meeting last week. And the fact that the electric option of the sludge dryer was a guinea pig, we didn't learn, our members did not learn that until the meeting, at that meeting. And so I don't think that you or the town have gotten the work that you should get, that we want to get, that we've been trying to get, because from my observation, the Energy Committee and those specialists who are professionals and can do this could not get the information they asked for months until just, the midnight hour. So I just want to.
I just have a question there. Have we withheld any information?
No.
To her defense.
Yeah,
I think
Mr. Chair, those kind of accusations should not be
that's inappropriate. I can't imagine the staff withholding any information.
I'll just clarify. So
Yeah,
Emily and I have worked very closely together on this project. We've had lots and lots of conversations, and she has rightfully said, it's too soon, I cannot give you this information. And so we've been waiting for information. We did get the information
on July 1st.
Right, so
the same day I got the
right, that's right. So I agree. So the part that has been unsettling is really just the discovering at the infrastructure committee meeting on Thursday that you were going to vote on Tuesday. So if I had known, if we had had a timeline and a decision-making process that said, here's how it's going to unfold, here are your chances to have input. As I said, I hate showing up here and asking, sort of saying please overrule the infrastructure committee. That's not where I want to be. So if I had to do it over again, I would have preferred that we had a kind of written process about here are the steps, here are the different bits, and then we wouldn't have been in this. So I think if I was under the impression that the decision was going to be made in late July, and so we had been preparing to say, okay, how do we decide this? And then I don't know what happened that it all had to be decided much sooner. And that's really, I think, where the disconnect happened. So if we had, and that's partly why I'm asking for you to just delay, because all of this happened very fast, and suddenly it's here at the select board meeting, and we had hoped to be able to work with Emily to sort out all of these things so that we would have a common common proposal, not having counter,
It just seems like, we could have known that electric was a guinea pig earlier.
Yeah, agreed.
When did Rikers figure out that BCR, there was never any real electric alternative?
On May 27th, we discussed it.
Yeah, it's possible that's not.
I have it in my notes from the meeting with you and Rich.
Jeremy, I'd love to, we have other people who are, way late for their scheduled agenda meetings. I'd like to move through this.
I just want to make the point, it's an engineering process.
Yes.
You've hired engineers, they've been going through it, and now you're sitting here second guessing every decision they've made. And it's a little bit.
But they were.
Well, no, when he's saying, why didn't we know earlier why this was?
You told us that when you were there.
No, I'm not saying they're second guessing them. I'm saying the point you're saying, why wasn't that, and Emily's saying it was known in May, right? So we're talking about delaying a decision for 2 weeks, but the data's been out there for 2 weeks.
But we're being asked to make the decision right now.
Right.
And we, who aren't on the infrastructure committee, didn't even know that the infrastructure committee this Thursday was discussing this, and found out about it later. Actually, go watch the video of the meeting before 2 days from then. So that we could. So we're feeling I think, I don't want to speak for everybody. What I'm feeling, having not been at that infrastructure meeting, is that I had a lot of information to synthesize at once quickly, And now I feel a great responsibility to make this decision, and I feel like I haven't fully synthesized all the information yet. And I do wish that that the rest of us on the select board and maybe in other committees had been given a timeline or been included a little bit earlier, because I think we could have had a better discussion.
But I haven't worked for the town in 6 months, and I know what the timeline is. I just read the town documents that are posted.
Right, but
Right?
not all of us can read all
And I'm
the
not on the
documents.
select board. That's my point. That's all my point is like, and I don't want to get, and I don't want to go down that tangent.
Documents on
But there were
everything
no
that's out there?
documents in
Like,
I read a lot of them. I read most of the town documents
It
because
would have been nice to have a heads up
citizen.
about the infrastructure meeting.
That's just and so the point is that my point is this, is I think if you're gonna delay it, you gotta have a plan of action. What do you want to see in 2 weeks?
Agreed.
What exactly are they gonna prepare in 2 weeks? What are the metrics? What are the tables? What are the calculations? What is the exact data that's gonna be presented in 2 weeks? Because delaying it off of words makes no sense to me as a taxpayer.
Infrastructure meets once a month.
That's my
same week, every month, and this decision had to be made by the end of this month. So, so understanding that the infrastructure committee was going to discuss this at this meeting, they delayed as long as they could. There's no other time that the infrastructure committee would have met to do it except then, because we had to do it by the 1st of August.
So we have the infrastructure committee that we appointed. We trust them. They did their due diligence. They have an expert opinion. They hired people consultants to advise them, and the staff is supporting it. Now, do we support them?
I understand
But we
that,
also
but
have
what do
an
we
energy
have the
committee.
energy committee for then? Like, where is that?
Yeah, they're also a part of
Like-
the decision-making process.
Yes, they recommend to us, right?
So it's what I think is difficult is that we have two respected town committees
Right.
who are at odds.
Oh, yeah.
And that's difficult.
I agree.
And it's not, it's not the first time that someone felt like they were left out of the loop. And being a new select board person, I'm like, I kind of hone in on that a little bit. Like, how can we start being more efficient and include more voices and more opinions where we're actually coming together and making a decision that people feel good about? More people feel good about, I guess.
And I think that's the complexity of it, is even if in my heart I know how I would vote, I want more people to feel comfortable with the decision that we make. Whether that it is a balance of how people feel and also data. And I don't think we have enough of both of that to fully say the select board is 100% confident as a whole, right? We might be individually like, I feel really confident from a business perspective that it would be better to go with natural gas, or from a cost perspective that it would be better to go with natural gas, or from my perspective, I think what the staff is saying and what the experts are saying is the most important. But we do need to give a service to the energy committee who feels like they've been left out, who feels like they need more time, to at least give them until next meeting, in my opinion, to bring forth information. And then to Jeremy's point, we have to make it really clear about what we want, because I don't want to delay a decision that feels very impending unless we know what we're going to ask for.
What can the energy committee bring that's going to be different than anything we've already heard? I appreciate what they've done. It's remarkable. The data is there. And I understand. Apparently, I didn't understand part of the data, but I understand the data, and
I think
I agree with them, but I don't.
Is a little bit of a conversation with the manufacturer about how to make it less scary to be a guinea pig, right? To offer.
I think
some
it's
kind
one of
a
the
servicing.
It's just
I
more.
don't imagine you'll get anything satisfying in 2 weeks or 2 months on that. We always make decisions without all the data. It's the nature of every decision that's made, is that there's more you could know about the inputs into these decisions. I am curious what the Energy Committee could do in 2 weeks that's useful. I do not think that they're going to give us a assurance that the manufacturer is going to hold us harmless if we choose to be the first municipal size installation of the electric dryer.
Because there's just the whole system is based on this. So it's not just losing the electric dryer. It's everything that, as Jeremy says, it's everything that goes with it. That electric system doesn't work. It's a rebuild. It's another $40 million to rebuild or so.
Isn't it just the heating of the oil, Jeremy, we're talking about?
Yeah, but
you talked about all of the impacts.
And then the electric supply for that heater? Is there more?
So
Are there industrial electric boilers?
Too much here because I don't. But it's, well, like I said before, if you go with electric, right? It's what they just told you is it's a megawatt, right? So you got feeders, transformers, switchgear housings, bus bars, conduits, everything that's associated with that, and then you got the sizing of your emergency generator. All your emergency power infrastructure has to get sized to carry that extra megawatt. And you got the fact that you don't have anyone in the town of Middlebury who can service electrical resistance heaters of that size, but you do have people who can service gas trains. I mean, that's kind of what it all goes to. Yeah.
Kurt, you're gonna be quick?
MTV will get plenty of work.
It's unusual that I come in front of the camera. Kurt Broderson, I just question, do you really need the Energy Committee to have more time, or does the Select Board itself need more time to digest what just happened?
I need more time to digest what just happened.
Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Then
we can have 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna find them.
Agreed. Okay. Emily?
Moving on.
It is the sense of the board.
The next item on the agenda, the Exchange Street multi-use path. Bids were opened late June, I believe. We received 3 bids, 3 competitive bids. There is a large discrepancy, as you'll note, between the low bid and the second to lowest bid. The recommendation from the Infrastructure Committee was to request a approved traffic control plan prior to awarding the contract. After discussing that with the VTrans project manager, which is our funding source on the job, and also reviewing the spec books. If we did that, we would likely end up in a major litigation battle.
Sure. Because
we do have to approve a traffic control plan, so we are still afforded that ability, but it comes once we're actually under contract as a paid phase of the work. So the project manager said to not take that approach. So I am looking for a recommendation to accept the lowest bid from Waters Excavation.
I have a question. You can make things, maybe it's a statement, you can make things good and you can make things cheap. Can we make this good and cheap?
I would love that, Dan.
That's what I thought.
That's the goal. I mean, I'll just have to be.
You'll be busy.
I'll be on site a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I move to recommend to the Select Board a contract with Water Excavation for $782,694 for the Exchange Street multi-use path project.
I'm sorry, I worded the motion incorrectly. This is an approval. Sorry, it's an approval. Of the
I move to approve
Yeah.
Very good.
a contract with
Yep.
Water Ex.
Amendment understood.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Moved.
Sorry about that.
Second.
Seconded. Other discussion on the Exchange Street sidewalk, my favorite project of them all.
Somebody call Brian Carpenter and tell him we're gonna vote.
Oh God.
We should have seen that place at noon today, when they were making a gas service entrance at the house across Exchange Street from Greg's Market at noon. Everybody's trying to get in there. Backed up past Methodist Lane, there were 4 flaggers.
All of the pedestrians were backed up.
Pedestrians had an easier time getting across because the traffic was stopped. It will be challenging
It will be challenging.
Manage
Agreed.
the traffic safely.
Yes.
And
That's one of the big issues is the traffic safety on this contract and the number of flaggers it's gonna take to do the project.
They're gonna
So they
significantly.
think they can do it with a couple
They can't.
and they can't do it with a couple,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be crazy.
Agreed.
Okay, that's good. We have a vote.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Off we go. Thank you, Emily. And now, as it's 8:05 p.m., we welcome the Middlebury College Makerspace.
I can't believe we still get to do this.
You're watching democracy at its best.
Another
A
hot
great civics
button.
lesson for your students.
I am Daniel Houghton. I run the Makerspace at Middlebury College, and while the past discussion was very riveting, I find this even more contentious. What I think the town needs is one more phone. And more on that in a second. The Makerspace is 3 years old. We have started engaging town projects, and we find it really fun and meaningful because it's what I can do with 20-year-olds who flow through the college, some of whom are here tonight. Things that we have started doing are things like making a new sign for the Taste of India, which was moldering
Oh,
and
you
falling
did
out
that.
inside the building.
I thought that was new.
Very nice.
It was a ton of fun, and we couldn't have done it without the Better Middlebury Partnership and the town, and it was a thrill to sneak up there on a Saturday morning and bolt it to the side of the building. It's also really fun to work with Malt and build them a shed next to their other shed where they do summer camps for kids out on the TAM. And that has been a ton of fun and very meaningful because we do a lot of head work at the college, but to do some work with our hands is really fun.
You
And
get
so,
permits for all those things? Just kidding.
yes, yes.
Just kidding.
So the next thing that we want to try is inspired by some really cool projects that have already proven successful in the Northwest, in Philadelphia, and most recently in Randolph, Vermont. And it is the creation of a free payphone, and you're imagining this correctly, a payphone from the 90s, clamped onto a light post that anyone can pick up and make calls from. And while I would love to talk about the details, I would really love for the students who are thinking about this project to talk about the details because I think they'll do a lot better job. If you want printouts, I've got some here. If I need the slides. And let's see it on screen.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Noah Plumpus. I'm a student here and an intern over at the Makerspace this summer.
And I'm Helena Grosskreutz, and I'm a student intern at the Makerspace this summer.
So I'd just like to start and talk a little bit about what these who these companies are and what they're actually doing.
It's the same thing.
It was originally a small company started out with Northwest, who started up this installation as a interactive arts and service project, basically enabling lower class populations and those without access to internet free and wireless calling, which I don't think anybody argues is a bad thing. And so in Randolph, Vermont, this gentleman by the name of Patrick Schlott established Rantel based off of these models, adapting it to a more rural area. And all that means in practice is taking a 90s payphone, a little bit of a taste from the past, changing the analog nature of it, the electrical impulses sent through the power lines, into a VoIP process, which is a voice over internet protocol. This is the same process used in WhatsApp, FaceTime audio, Zoom, and all it does is it converts these small electric impulses into data packets, which can be uploaded over Wi-Fi to anywhere in the U.S. and world at large. And we're proposing a installation of one of these phones in the town right outside, and I'll let Wayne talk about that.
Yes, you can scroll down quite a bit to, just two more. Yeah, okay, that's good. Thank you. So, like Daniel mentioned, there's been multiple communities that have integrated these phones successfully in their community. So that includes Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Williamstown, Vermont, among others. So these phones give public access, give the public access to communication. They encourage individuals to be more present and participate with their community, as well as an opportunity for community expression and art, as you can see by the picture. So to prioritize all of that, you can scroll down, please. To prioritize all of that, we propose to put this phone into, you can see we're in Middlebury Town Clerk. We propose to put the phone in Cannon Park. This is in the middle of a lot of local businesses. It is central to pedestrian and vehicle traffic, so it's very visible and easily accessible by the community, which is obviously the most important part. Additionally, if you could scroll down one more time, specifically, we would like to put it on this lamppost. So this lamppost, as you can see from multiple angles, is quite visible from the road, from the street. And the nice part is it's like accessible, it's right there, people can see it, but also it's not necessarily in the way of people moving down the street. So if somebody decides to stop and make a phone call, they're not taking up the entire sidewalk, which is cool. Additionally, by putting the phone onto already existing infrastructure, it will make the installation process much easier, as well as hopefully faster. So that's definitely a huge plus. And as you can see, kind of in the bottom right corner in this park, there's already a ping pong table, which is super cool. So the phone will be a cool installation and a great addition to the park, and I think could become an iconic part of Middlebury. So yes, that's our proposal. Thank you. Yay. And if you have any questions.
I have a question. Have you checked with the people in the town about the feasibility of putting on the lamppost?
I wanted to determine the feasibility of the site at all.
Okay.
And then we chose a lamppost because it was an object that already had power running to it.
Right.
That plus the Wi-Fi that would extend from this building to that lamppost checks the boxes in us. So that would be in our next up list.
Okay.
But we didn't want to jump the gun before at least assessing the feasibility of the project as a
I
whole.
was going to ask about the power, and so you're intending to use existing power from the town utility there.
The town has had a local electrician, Glenn Peck, install electrical outlets on a number of the poles, so the
There
power
are,
can be tapped into.
Easy enough to
by-
get 110 out of there.
But, you know, the Public Works Department ought to be the channel that you go through for this.
Okay.
It looks like it's far enough off the sidewalk that the sidewalk plow won't take it out. I think it's a great location and a great project.
And we're also in touch with the individual that started Rantel. We're meeting with him this Thursday to kind of get some more information. He has offered to provide us a telephone actually. So that's really awesome, and we'll also be able to communicate with him and kind of see how this project got to fruition and was successful in his own communities. I think he's installed these phones in a number of different places. So, and then we'll also get some feedback and be able to more confidently this is how we're going to install it.
So my wife has suggested that since you have incredible flexibility with a phone like this, that there could be a code *21 or something that plays Rick Astley. There could be a hidden code to reach the town manager on his cell phone. There's all kinds of Easter eggs that we can hide inside the guts of this phone.
That's a great idea.
So, right. So I think it's a fantastic project. I am thrilled.
I also, sort of in the same vein, I have visions of like making it look cool, like having some kind of so it really can be like a tourist attraction, like something that makes people want, I want to go to Middlebury to try that phone, you know. And it could also, because a lot of people your generation and younger aren't so familiar with making phone calls, I think it would be fun to have like a little booklet attached that's like phone conversation etiquette, like number 1, introduce yourself, number 2, you know, like don't call after 10 p.m. or whatever. Like, I think we could have fun with it, and I'm excited to see what you all what fun things you decide to put into it.
I'd like to speak to that really briefly. It's not quite as riveting as Never Gonna Give You Up. However, in Portland, one of the initial things was actually including a line to telehealth and hooking it up to other things like our blue light service on campus.
Right. Yeah.
There are accesses and roads to all of these.
Yep.
Cool.
Great.
And a great benefit of a
Exactly,
public
yes.
access phone is that if someone's phone died, especially younger individuals that are trying to communicate with their parents or their guardians, if their phone died and they're walking around the street, they can easily communicate and they don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I have to go ask a stranger or something like that. So it's a great opportunity.
Very cool.
I'd be interested to know when you meet with the developer, like what are the most common phone calls that are made? You know, I have this like worry that I know my former students might be like prank calling. So that is a worry of mine, but I do know 100% that there are so many young people who are, you know, in that 5th grade, 7th grade age that are kind of walking around town with their friends for the first time. They might not have a cell phone. I think this is a really great tool. I worry also about their prank.
Could go wrong.
And by the way, if you've got other ideas of improving our town, just wander around and pick out other things. You've got a great start.
Let's go.
Yes,
Really
great job, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
No, I am not going to ask the makerspace.
You're gonna have that.
Come on now.
Can I get access to the?
Yeah, if you jump on the link.
Hi everyone, my name's Sarah Schumacher. I'm the
Welcome.
Community Relations Manager for Addison County at Tri-Valley Transit.
Yeah.
Hey.
Sorry for the late night.
Oh, I have to go to the.
Yes.
We did, didn't we? Wow.
Yeah.
We're gonna push that up.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. I have some handouts I can pass around.
I think we have.
Oh, do you?
Yes, we have those maps in our,
Okay, great.
in our.
If anybody wants some, I have more. And I'll try to keep this really short because I know everyone's tired.
You'll be happy to know Megan and I are almost daily riders of Tri-Valley Transit.
We're obsessed.
Sorry, what?
We're obsessed. Megan and I are almost daily riders.
I know Megan is.
We're
Wait, are you
Tri-Valley Transit
also
fans.
Yes.
taking it up to Burlington?
Yes,
You
yes,
take
we
together.
work right next to each other.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so glad to hear that.
Good, you can talk all week about
We can
electric.
talk.
We're big
We
fans.
can talk
all
all
week.
night. I
All
thought I
week.
was tired, but I can talk all night about TBT.
Same. I tell it to everyone.
Steve should be here.
We're actually celebrating 50 years.
Wow.
And we just created, Mike King did the illustration of like a sticker, and we'll be handing those out. And then we're also going to be using it on the buses. Like we're gonna have stickers on the buses.
Are you on Mary Claire's?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So you should see.
Join as panelists?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm here to talk about, that's not me, that's
I was wondering.
Claire, sorry. I'm using her account.
But you could share at the bottom if you want.
Should I unmute it or? Okay. Great.
I won't judge.
Oh, great. Okay, so we're really excited because tomorrow morning, we are launching an update to our Easy Trip app. It's called My Ride by TBT, where the service is provided by Via Transportation, and we're very excited because the app is like way easier to use. So it's basically, Easy Trip is now My Ride. It's easier to use. The app is going to show the van on its way to you, which when I've been doing outreach, I've been telling people It's like the Domino's truck or the Domino's van when it shows that it's coming
Brilliant.
with your delivery. It's Uber,
Yeah.
but it's public transit.
And it's cool.
And it's free. Users, the problem that we were having with Easy Trip, the app was really kind of clunky and users would lose their password and then they couldn't use the app. So they're constantly calling dispatch, and we wanted to have a much easier to use app. And this one, when you log in, it's just gonna text you the login code to your phone, so you won't have to remember any passwords. It's gonna have the same hours as Easy Trip, so 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday to Friday, and it's the same Middlebury Town Ride service area, which I will show you in the map. Our goal in doing this, what we call microtransit, is that we're hoping to reach more riders at their homes and businesses curb to curb. We have a lot of an aging population in Vermont, and this is also gonna help riders that have a hard time getting to the bus. It's gonna give more freedom to those riders who are older and also to riders who are younger. Megan and I used it to pick up our daughters from MC camp and drop them off at her house.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, we're also hoping, like I'm gonna be talking to the teen center about getting those kids the app and just there's so many kids wandering around town in the summer, a lot of middle schoolers with like e-bikes and stuff. So we're hoping to give more transportation to folks. And also we're just looking to grow ridership.
How did you find this? Like, did you go to a trade show? Is there a
This
group?
is actually like sort of a model for rural transit that they're finding that so with our fixed routes, which is what we call our normal bus routes, the service is there and it's going to remain there, but we're just able to reach more people this way. And also all of our MyRide vans are handicap accessible, so we don't have to worry about that, and it helps take the pressure off of the fixed route because on Court Street, especially during the school year, anytime that we have a wheelchair user and we need to pull over and load them, the driver is having to exit the driver's side into traffic, stop traffic, load the passenger, and then continue. So we're hoping to I've been doing a ton of outreach saying, call the MyRide because it can come and actually, because it's a van and not a bus, we can enter into people's driveways easily, pick them up and not stop traffic.
What are the boundaries? Like how far?
I'll show you.
It's right on the app.
Oh, no, that's
It
the
shows you
maker.
Oh, look
exactly.
at you! Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So, like I said, it's a small van. It's going to go. It's going to be able to serve more people because it's not fixed stops. We're used to people flagging down the bus. With the MyRide, you cannot flag down the bus. And then I'll show you the Middlebury zone. It's like an Uber, but it's accessible and free. Here is the zone. So it extends up past Sugar House. It goes it's a motel. It goes near the college, past the golf course, past Adirondack Circle, and then over to Seminary and Quarry, and then south to Lower Foot. And these boundaries we found we were able to do the most service with the least deadhead miles, which is important in keeping the cost per rider down, which is very important for our funding for VTrans.
The app installation and login is awesome.
Yes.
Well done.
Awesome.
Yeah, it has just the right amount of information.
Great.
Yeah.
So the MSB Hannaford fixed bus route is going to remain. The app will push you towards that. Say if you're asking to go from Hannaford to Adirondack Circle, it'll suggest that you just take the bus first. Unless we're asking, right now VIA is working on a checkbox we have some folks who are having issues with mobility, and that would be difficult for them, so we're asking for that checkbox, like, please pick me up anyway. And then on Saturdays, we're not gonna have the My Ride service. It goes back to the bus, which has all the different MSB Saturday schedule routes that goes all over town.
So I see it like goes to moms. Is that right?
The MSB, yeah, the Hannaford bus does.
Oh, yeah.
But so does My Ride, but I don't think we're
You wouldn't
gonna-
have to, 'cause
I don't
you already
think-
have the bus
yeah,
there.
And
Yeah.
I don't know how kids would, although, you know, we could, I think that is actually a great idea because kids need to go to practice.
Right.
And we could, the other thing we're trying to do is batch rides because we need to get more people onto each ride to lower the cost per rider. And that's actually a really awesome idea because I struggle with the same.
Well, there's just like a
Is
one or
Middlebury
two
just
times.
too far
that-
away? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's okay.
The East Middlebury question. So we've been, I'm sure you've seen the Front Porch Forum questions about East Middlebury.
I haven't.
Oh. There have been a few.
Sure.
My response to those folks is we want to give service all year round. Right now, our East Middlebury service runs from early September through early June. That is when the school North Branch is in session, and so we have enough ridership with the school kids that they use the bus to commute to school. We have talked about if there's enough interest, we will hold a public meeting in East Middlebury, possibly end of August, to find out if folks are really serious about it, and then we would do a pilot to find out if we could sustain it, or if we get enough ridership and it's successful. Bill has suggested that we could potentially look at extending down to like Middlebury Beef or right within Route 7 and 125, that area. It would have to be, it's something we're considering.
That's good.
Yeah, because believe me, we want to serve that ridership. It's just challenging because of how far away it is.
Yeah. Sure. No, I just had somebody that I posted about on Front Porch Forum who was basically hitching to the long trail.
Oh, really?
Snowball. Yeah.
During the summer, just trying to.
Just like last weekend.
Oh, when they couldn't get down into town.
I found my neighbor drove them. But
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean it would be amazing, and we have enough ridership in the winter to make the Snowball route is very popular, especially the college kids going up to ski. But it's a challenge. We have a rider in Ripton who wants year-round service, and it's like we cannot send a bus for one person. It's just not efficient, but it's unfortunate. So you can download the app from the Apple App Store, Google Play. There's also a web app. The link is kind of unwieldy. You can also call TVT Dispatch to schedule a ride, but we're really trying to push people to use the app. And there's also a website. You can go to our website, trivalleytransit.org/myride, and there you can download the app. I can exit this if you want to see. And I don't know if you all want to go through how to sign up for the app. You might be too sophisticated for me to actually need to go through this, but it's very clear. You just sign in with your phone number. It's going to send you a message. It's going to ask where you are. It says out of zone because I live in East Middlebury. It's going to say your current location, where to. It'll ask a travel reason, and that can be medical, shopping. You can say other or personal, and that's just for us to gather some data. And then there's two important things that you should know about when you're booking a ride. You either have to choose arrive by or depart by, and it will automatically go to depart by. The difference between those two is that depart by is sort of if you're leaving a shift at work and you know you're going to be done at 5. Depart by is important because it doesn't really matter. It'll give you a window. It's not going to necessarily be there at 5. It might be like 5:15. It'll be a window of time. Whereas arrive by, you want to choose arrive by if you need to be at work by 9 a.m. And then the algorithm will schedule it so that all the other rides that it's picking up. It knows where you are, it knows what the traffic is, and it'll make sure to get you within the window of time so that you arrive at work on time.
Very cool.
It's awesome.
You paid to have the last app built, I think.
Oh,
Bill told us
HPSS.
that.
Yes, we had.
Sorry. Right. I'm guessing that, right, the usability, whatever, the features were such that you need to go with MyRide.
Yes, we got a lot of complaints, and a lot
Okay.
of people have had a really hard time operating it.
Yeah.
We went with that provider because they provide our Medicaid rides, and we thought
sure.
that the app would be just an extension of that for other riders, but
Gotcha.
then it turned out, I don't want to like publicly humiliate this company,
No
but
one is watching
okay.
at this hour, you're good.
Great, so just really poor engineering.
Yeah.
So
Usability is hard. People don't.
and Via
always
Transportation
understand
is an awesome company. Like,
Fantastic.
So actually our rep is in town tonight. She came in tonight. She's gonna be helping us tomorrow morning at like 6 a.m. roll out the new, there's gonna be hiccups, but we're very excited. We're just crossing our fingers. I'm gonna be like writing and talking to people and seeing how it goes.
And the price is reasonable. They're not gouging you.
Yes, it's like an annual fee, and then they just charge depending on how many vehicles you'll be using, because we have apps. The drivers each have tablets that they will track them, and then they can track their rides. So.
Cool. I work in Montpelier. It's nice to see that GMTA
do you know about the one? So
has
we
turned to TVT.
Yes.
Over there.
Just July 1st.
Yeah.
And also, so MyRide has been active in Montpelier since 2019.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
So you inherited this from GMTA, kind of?
Well, we didn't inherit it. They knew about this app, and then it's been a decision because of all the frustration, and we looked at the data from Montpelier and their success with it, and they have a much higher user rate than we do, adoption rate.
Right.
Theirs is like, I think it's close to like, ours was pitiful. I think it was 20% or lower, and theirs is closer to 80%.
Yeah.
And the
Amazing.
ratings, the ratings that people give this app is like 4.75. Like it continually gets pretty high ratings. So
Amazing.
and it's great that they were kind of the guinea pigs for us to see how it went. There are a few things that are a little challenging with some of our riders, especially in Middlebury. You have to have an email address or a phone number. I'll be talking to some CSAC case managers about the best way to manage some folks who will not have that. We are creating fake email addresses for folks who don't have emails. And we're using an 802-555 fake number, and then we'll have like a caregiver version of a way to book rides, so they won't actually see the van coming, but then say someone at Charterhouse, like it can book for someone there and then not have their name affiliated with it, because one of the concerns was that the riders might, sometimes we have band riders, so.
Sure.
So you want to book an hour in advance of your ride, up to 21 days in advance. You can schedule multiple rides if you know you have a bunch of appointments you want to go to. You can book up to 7 passengers with you. There's 8 seats in the van. That will also depend on how many other riders are currently on the van. All the MyRide vans are wheelchair accessible, and we're just hoping that people kind of plan to ride together, because that'll make the plan successful in the long term.
Makes your numbers good.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, go.
I just wanted to say about the batch rides and
Yeah.
getting people together. I think it would be really cool to, and I hope you're probably already doing this, maybe we've talked about this, getting the word out to the schools, that this is a really great option for kids to get to their after school activities, which is one thing I already did last spring with my daughter, who needed to get to her pottery class, and I was at work and couldn't get her there, and so I scheduled in advance this ride every week, and she loved it and called it her secret limo. It got her there every week, but I think I was always encouraging other parents to do it with me, and we didn't get anybody to join us. And you pointed out that, I just wanted to say, for the record, I think some parents are sometimes nervous about letting their kid go in a car with somebody they
Right.
don't know, but all these drivers have been
So
vetted.
everyone who works for TVT, we have all been background checked. And the drivers are, you know, the vans are small and the drivers are very aware of what's going on in the van, and I would send my daughter on it, so
yeah.
I definitely think, the
We had
outreach
a
to
great
school
experience,
is
but
huge.
I think outreach to schools just to encourage people.
And then
to
the
take
college
advantage
is
of
gonna
that.
be huge too.
Because also this is such a great solution for traffic in town at those after school
And this
times.
is one of the
when
challenges
when like
that-
parents leave work to go pick their kids up from school and then
Yes,
drive them
this
like
is-
4 blocks away to hockey practice or whatever.
I feel like it is one of the massive issues that, we are trying to solve.
It's great.
That's
I'm
traffic
really
on
excited
Court
about this.
Street.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh, but I have one question.
Sure.
My question, I'm so psyched about this. But my question is, so for kids who are in town who don't have their own cell phones, can they, maybe even
Use
taking
the phone.
advantage of can they call
Yes.
TBT on the telephone
Yes.
and book a ride if they needed to do
if
that?
Frankie wanted to call from the
The new
pay
phone.
phone over there, she would just have to. She already has a user account, or you would have to set one up for her using MyRide. With her name and email.
Okay.
And it can be a landline phone number. It doesn't have to be a cell phone number.
Okay.
But every user has to have a distinct phone number, and which is a challenge for some of our older clients because a lot of times they'll share a phone line. But it's an identifier, a unique identifier for each passenger, each rider. So she would have to have that, and then she can be booked through the system. She can call dispatch and they can book rides for her.
Super cool.
That's where East Middlebury would be. You'd get ridership.
I know. Believe me, we're
all the kids from East Middlebury.
So many kids, they just pop on and cause it's far, you know,
Yeah,
like
we're going to the arcade.
so there's
I
there's
know.
no way to get there. Yeah.
we receive emails from folks in East Middlebury that are trying to send their middle schoolers to practice or something, and it's heartbreaking. I want to. It's
One
like
day.
really hard to not have the service that you want to have, but it's a funding issue.
Yeah, I get it.
And then we're also we fundraise and it's local match. So anytime that we're able to raise funds, we can get match from V-Trans. So.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
Super great.
Very cool. We're working on some schedule changes that we did a survey of the routes up to Burlington. We are working. Our regional director is working. We are considering a stop in front of Gather that Peer Recovery Center of Addison County would also be very grateful for, and those are things that we're working towards, but we can bring that up at another meeting. They're still in early phases, but we're excited.
Good.
So
I heard them say they were sources. I heard from Bill Cunningham. They're talking about contacting the Department of Public Works about the sign and stop.
Right. Yeah, he
I
did
said,
this.
you know,
We're going to
probably
be meeting with
probably that,
someone from the
that
town.
process together with the police chief. We want to keep traffic flowing on Court Street.
Sure.
Really, what needs to happen.
Police chief okayed it. We're we're
Great.
planning to meet with someone from the town this week to look at the right of way.
Great.
Good.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Great.
Sounds
Thank
terrific.
you. Is that it for everybody?
I think so. Thanks so much, and thanks for sticking
to
it
see
out.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Holy cow. It's not our quickest meeting. Get back to our agenda. Is that it?
So we don't have Laura here right now, so we can skip number 10.
Okay.
Number 11.
Fire district.
Yeah, I'll make that quick. So you might recall we did this once before. We received a request from Charles Lyons, who's a member of the Prudential Committee for East Middlebury. They had their annual meeting back in January. No candidate came forth.
Right.
They've had some subsequent conversations at their public meetings on a monthly basis, and they've identified a candidate.
Perfect.
So per the state law section that relates to all this, they can submit a name to you all and then ask for your permission to approve it. So that is Peter Lack.
You looking at it? Anyone?
I'm sorry, what?
I'm trying to.
Number 11.
The East Middlebury
Any
Metro
reason we
Committee.
shouldn't nominate
I moved to
Peter
approve
Lackey?
Peter Lackey to fill.
Oh, I'm sorry.
East Middlebury Fire District Number 1 Credential Committee.
It's a second.
We're giving that to you because it's your name.
Moved and seconded.
Thank
Well
you.
done. Any comments or concerns about Peter?
No.
Hearing none. All in favor?
Sounds great. Aye.
Fantastic. That's the end of it, except for, it's sharing. Oh, sharing and contact information. Good question. This will take 1 minute. There's a question about whether we want to have only the select board address, which emails all of us, or if we also want to have individual contact information
From the
on the
public,
town
for the
website.
public.
Yes.
And that
I'm
includes,
fine either way.
that includes the phone number, you mean?
Up until recently.
It could.
It did.
I'm
Yeah,
fine either way.
I want to share my experience. Couple of months ago,
That's not great.
11:30 at night, I got a series of 100 calls.
Wow.
Somebody was spoofing,
Oh.
and they will swear at me. They said should be ashamed of being on the select board and stuff.
You don't
So I had
silence
to
your
shut my
phone
phone
at
off.
night? Yeah.
And I had to shut my. Then the next day in the afternoon, started again. So I called the police,
Yeah.
and they told me to just
Block the number.
no, it's coming from all over.
Okay.
I had one phone call that came from Middlebury Police Department, which was spoofed. It was not the police department.
Wait,
So-
is your phone number on the website?
Previously.
Or
Cell
phone
phone,
number?
cell phone.
Previously.
Yeah, it's
It is
on-
not right now.
Oh, I didn't know our phone numbers were on the
So that's
website.
what the police officer said, that maybe you should not have it on your, the town webpage.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it just being one main. Who would that go to?
It goes to all of us.
It's a
So it's a distribution list.
Okay.
So you don't answer that.
I think I appreciate having my individual email. I don't want my phone number on there, but I think individual email is nice because occasionally somebody wants to reach out to you in particular for something.
Yeah, the email's fine.
Yeah.
I think email is fine.
Yeah.
Are we all okay with both individual and group email?
As long as
Yes.
we know that Andy will not want us to buy gift cards.
Correct. I will not ask anyone to buy gift cards for any
And-
reason.
oh, they have in our
Right,
email.
right.
Yeah, very good. So, David, you got the direction?
Yep.
Very good. Mark,
I know it's late. I just
Bring it.
One add.
I'm still awake.
Related to this. I did talk to Drew about this to see what best practices he could suggest. He's suggesting that we use the select board ad and then it goes to your individual email accounts. But if you don't want to do that, it sounds like you don't.
no, I think we want both.
Well, he's suggesting only that.
I understand.
He thought that we should move in the direction of assigning you all
Yes.
Yes.
Middlebury, town of Middlebury.
addresses,
Absolutely.
to personal emails.
Yeah, sure.
and
Yeah.
business separate.
Okay.
And that allows us to retain those emails.
Yeah, public records.
Yeah.
For public records in the future. So if you're good with that.
Let's
Yes.
go.
Even better.
Yes.
Let's keep Drew busy as long as we can.
Yeah, go Drew.
Okay.
He showed me his desk. It
So
looks
we'll say
great.
we'll take
I need this to go on his desk.
Oh, this is
No,
his.
we don't want that. We're gone.
All right.
I'll give it.
That water's very old. Whatever's in there anyway.
So now it's time for executive session.
What?
No, joking. Joking. Come on now. Time for a little joke.
Gosh.
No, it's time for select board concerns and no.
We have one more.
Come on, Mark. Bring it.
Sorry. I know.
We're not talking about shit.
So we were talking back at the charter conversation, and there's a little bit of a timeline problem. So we won't have enough time for the charter committee to meet and then make a recommendation to the select board because we have to advertise 30 days in advance.
Post 30 days, but yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to have the updated charter with any changes based on recommendations tonight in place 30 days before the next public hearing.
Public notice has to be posted no more than 40, less than 30. But that would be a summary of a version, either the one you approved last week or a revised version. You can adopt the revised version that was in the packet, but you were also making some changes
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
fly in
There were
the
some
meeting,
things we liked there.
and there were some things you didn't comment on one way or the other when they were speaking. So can we take the yeses as yeses and the nothing as no's? Or do you want to, if you want to meet again, frankly, we'll just need to push out that second public hearing. That's basically the other option.
We had, based on the earlier discussion, we would not have a second meeting in July. Dorothy and I have made plans. I have like 2 more days before we're going to be away until August. So my time to meet with as a committee would be pretty limited. It happened very quickly.
Including tomorrow.
I could do it tomorrow.
It seems like it was some.
Fred,
I can't do tomorrow.
you're not gonna be here for the
It
meeting.
would have to be an emergency meeting.
I'm not going to be here on the 28th. I might be able to Zoom in, but I'm going to be. I don't know what the internet will.
So what's our alternative?
Well, it seemed like the other
Well, the next couple of days.
simple, no? Like, do you have to meet about
Like,
that?
do we have to meet?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is what I have. I mean, you can. I don't think the things that are outstanding are that significant. You can breeze through the ones that are already covered in the meeting.
Right,
If you
find
could,
the
if
things.
anybody made really good notes about that, and I'd be happy to respond to those. But we can still make all of the changes. We could warn it as it is now for the second meeting and take more public comment. I think I'm still interested in knowing about the possibility of a fall vote as opposed to a special town meeting. But we can discuss that in September or whatever.
We'll get some clarification.
Just ask
Yeah,
me.
very good.
So the takeaway
So
is
I can meet Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
We want to be efficient. So what is our step to being the most efficient?
We'll talk to Karen tomorrow, right?
That's actually not part of it. He just needs to know what changes to make to warn. I think that the schedule for the special town meeting or when we're voting is, that decision can be waiting until September.
But I saw you you
If
were
you want this to
diligently
come
taking notes.
Oh yeah, I made notes of all of the things we're talked about.
Yeah, me too.
And
So if you're not going to be here and
Well-
town staff is editing it, though,
well,
what should town staff
We won't be here for
warn?
the 28th, but that's not when our second meeting is.
no, there's still a chance after the 28th to make further amendments. So, it's a factor of when can David do this.
It needs to be 30 days before April 25th.
no, forget it. It's gonna be
August,
April.
sorry,
Yeah.
my time. It might be late. It's possible it's gotten late.
So here's what we could try to do. We could have a second hearing on August 25th.
Yes.
We have dates before that are just procedural, so you don't have to worry about that. We could bring back the version with the legal input. That's what would be in the notice that we would publish. There are provisions that the LCT that allows you to make revisions to what you've put forth.
Okay.
So you would have to make revisions at the second public hearing. And then we would need to make sure that the subsequent warnings match
include
any
the
revisions. So
Great. So we should have available August 25th. Any changes based on the public hearing tonight that we would like to incorporate into the document going forward.
And the things that there was
we
consensus
will use
on-
the ones you said yes on.
Sure.
Okay.
And not sure there's many others besides that.
We need a whole bunch of different colors in there. Black, red, and blue is not enough. Okay.
It's only 10:15.
It's only 10:15. Let's go all night.
Only. I'm sorry.
All right. We don't have an executive session. Danielle.
What else is going to happen?
It's select board concerns and comments.
I'm looking forward to hearing more about your experience with Chip.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That is something that we need to discuss in sub-quorum quantities prior to the 28th.
It sounds
Speaking of sub-quorum.
very interesting.
Yes.
Yes, Megan?
I do wanna, sorry, I'm like, my brain is melted.
Yeah. understandable.
I think in light of the wastewater treatment conversation, I did feel like I personally could have used a heads up that this vote was coming on Tuesday. Like I found out on Friday that we were voting on Tuesday, and I didn't know that the infrastructure meeting had this conversation the previous Thursday. I would have liked like a heads up.
Last week, that was.
Right. So the infrastructure meeting was on Thursday.
Yeah.
Then I got the packet on Friday
Yeah.
and found out we were voting. So I didn't know, I would have liked to go to the infrastructure meeting because it was just a discussion of a really important thing. So I'm wondering if when we have, and I know as Jeremy told us, like, yes, I'm trying to read as many documents as I can, but I'm not always keeping track of what's on the agendas of all the committees and commissions every
Well, and what the big things
so,
are.
So like when there is a big
That's why I
thing,
sent it to you.
right,
Right, and I
exactly,
appreciated
and
that.
Yes, really,
Thank
I
you.
wanted to tell you, thank you, Dan.
Yes.
I really appreciate that you sent that to me. And I did watch the video, and then I read the minutes, and I was glad that David, that you sent us the minutes before the meeting as well. That was great.
Yeah.
But what I think would be just the extra step that would really be great is if when we have big topics like this, and we anticipate there's going to be a big conversation at a committee meeting, just a quick email to our select board emails that says like, hey, heads up, the wastewater treatment conversation is happening at the infrastructure meeting tomorrow, so that we could go if we want to, because I'm not always scanning the agendas of all the commissions and committees, and I did feel like there wasn't enough time to catch up on all that happened there.
Well, for me, in addition to that, like when we were having our little rotation of coffee, that's not necessarily the answer, but because I don't know if it's because I'm new or whatever, but like I'm just putting the pieces together as to like what might be affected and where I can be helpful. Like I might have maybe caught like, oh, because I see most of the energy committee in Flatbread like weekly. So like, you know, that in some way, like I might have been able to like start to understand like, okay, what's going to be, what is this about on a larger scale, I guess. I wasn't, like, I appreciated the heads up in a big way. I still didn't draw that much of a connection.
It takes a while to come on this board and get all the information that's going on, and we're rolling some big things across you right now, so it's hard.
It does.
Hard. We've got,
it totally
we've
does,
got,
but I
we've
think
got,
we can
we've got
improve it.
3-4 years of this wastewater treatment plant that we've been working on.
Yeah, but I mean, even I, right, am not looking at what's infrastructure talking about. Like, I really do think
This
like
decision has been announced that we need to make this decision for months.
Yeah.
Right, but
Yeah,
we didn't
months.
have the date.
Right.
We knew that this, I knew it was coming.
Yes,
Like
yes.
everywhere I go, when people are like, "Hey, what's happening in the Selectboard? What do you want to talk about?" And I'm like, "Ooh, wastewater."
That's right.
Like I knew it was coming. I just didn't know. It was like, oh, it was Thursday. You know, like I didn't know that. And that.
What are you
would
guys
be-
going to do the next? What are we going to do the next 2 weeks? We need to meet with 3 people in coffee every day and rotate.
No,
the whole board.
no.
That was a good idea to do. Because
I-
I'm not sure if you need to. Do you need to sit with all of us or?
It's only 10:20.
well, I think it's more of like a reflection after the fact.
Yeah. I'm making a reflection after the fact. I'm saying in the future, when we have a big topic like
Wasn't
this.
the January decision as important as the July decision?
Yeah, but
And so I think, like, we've got 2 select board members on the infrastructure committee. They publish their agenda. I mean, maybe the thing to do probably is to have those folks tell us, hey, this is coming up.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
During
Okay.
select board
That's
meetings,
it. We can go to bed.
It's on them.
Yes, just
Yes.
like we did with charter review. Like, here's where
This
we're
is coming.
at.
Yeah.
We're about
Yes.
to meet with this person. Like, this is coming up in our
Yes.
next meeting.
Well,
like
almost-
Dan did when you emailed us, but it would have been nice right before Thursday, so we could have been. So
You're
we
blaming it on me, no?
Hot gossip
I'm saying
coming.
thank you, Dan. I really appreciate, because if you, honestly, because Dan, if you hadn't emailed
There's
me,
no way I would have felt
I would
prepared.
have come to the meeting having only read what was in the packet,
Mhm.
which
Right.
didn't include
Right. It'd be not
anything
at
that
all.
happened at that infrastructure meeting.
Yeah.
So I think it was great. I really appreciate that you emailed
No,
us.
it's fine, it's fine.
But
I don't need
next
any more
time,
input.
Okay,
before the big
we've got a, yes, an understanding that part of select board comments can be, hey, here's
Yes.
what's coming up at the
Yes.
committees that I sit on.
Yes.
Right now,
All the big ticket
that.
items are rolling through the
I know.
infrastructure.
We
It's,
got
it's
some-
all the big ticket items
Right.
roll.
I get it now, but a lot of the energy related stuff is going through the
Sure,
infrastructure.
that's what it tends to be related to.
We've
Yeah.
been dealing with these. Yes, this is what the energy committee does to inform us,
Yeah,
and it's always been
needs to be
like
earlier
this.
in the process though that
But
they're doing that.
always been like this, right?
Yes.
Did I say that
It's
politely?
always been like this, and you are being polite. Isabel?
We had a wonderful conversation related to chip applications, and I'm excited to share more. Andy was there as well, so I'm excited to know who's next on our meetings, and if anyone isn't in this week's meeting group, I'm happy to still meet.
Yeah.
This week's meeting group is Dan, Farhad, and Danielle, unless, because we missed one while I was away, unless that you guys got together.
Probably
already.
not.
I haven't been to coffee with any of you.
Okay, so Dan, Farhad, and Danielle, you're up.
Do you want to invite Alex to chip it up?
We tried.
Yeah.
We tried
How's his
before.
dog?
He'll show up, and someone
dog
might
was in
show up too.
hospital when
Who
we
knows?
tried.
I don't care, it's not me, but
Well, I don't know if he's still in the hospital. That was like 3 months
who's in the
ago.
hospital?
Alex's dog.
Alex's dog.
Holy cow,
This is
we're
not
off the rails here.
animal hospital.
Come on, 10:20.
Animal hospital, people.
Yeah. Farhad, what you got?
Okay, I got more of the gas versus electric. I just want to clarify something. There is a subtle difference between the two committees. I hope you back me up on this.
Mm-hmm.
The infrastructure committee has the town staff on it. Energy committee is focused only on energy. Infrastructure committee does a lot more than what you think. And every single time I've seen energy committee is at odds with the police department, with the public works department, because they are always focusing on electric only. And we are focusing on our budget, we are focusing on our town staff, expert opinions, and I'm gonna 100% back them again.
I totally get that, and I appreciate it, and like makes sense to me. What the piece that I don't know yet, and we can talk about it another time, is in all of that you're talking about. Like, does the footprint come into like? Is that research? You know, is the expert that we're bringing in looking at that too?
The footprint?
The carbon footprint.
The carbon footprint.
carbon
like,
footprint.
yeah, like that's the only piece that I didn't feel comfortable without
so-
knowing.
Probably not a whole lot, right, Fred? I mean,
Well, I gotta share with you, just that I'm on the energy committee,
And
as
the
a
infrastructure
liaison and infrastructure.
yeah.
So,
What?
I get this from all sides. There was first of all, there was a communication about this on June 5th. Emily sent a memo to the infrastructure committee saying, we have a June 11th meeting, we have a light agenda, but we're gonna have a special meeting on July 9th. She went on to say, I have invited the engineers from Wright Pierce and members of the energy committee to discuss gas versus electric at the wastewater treatment plant. And I had only asked in the infrastructure meeting, are things going smoothly? Are they getting the information? And Emily said yes. It turns out Emily did not communicate with the energy committee about this July 9th date. And I, at their June meeting, when Mike Roy was in France and Alice was away, you could watch the tape of that meeting if you want. I informed them they need to be at the July 9th meeting, all of them.
But
And-
Emily said that
they hadn't known about it, so I said, look, and David was there. Emily is trying to make the most efficient procedure possible so that the engineers present this all
Right.
at once. And so I tried to smooth over their feeling snubbed about not having access to this before by saying, look, this is the constructive way to do this. You come to the tonight's meeting, you can ask the engineers and you can say what you want to say about GHG impact to them. It turns out at the infrastructure meeting, very little was said about the greenhouse gas impact. Much more was said here tonight.
People went from the energy committee, went there?
The infrastructure meeting.
What?
It was formal.
Oh, yeah.
They were
They were
formal.
there.
Yeah, they were right there.
And
They were alerted.
and they did some really great tables
But
and
Fred-
graphs of the alternatives to try to bring the energy committee up to speed with the challenges of this decision. They had a very nice spreadsheet, and they didn't introduce that at the infrastructure committee meeting or have any of the model that Rich Wolfson had worked on. And so, you know, I just got to say from my side of it, the energy committee realized early on, Rich Wolfson told them, look, it's going to be way more expensive. The issue that really surprised them, that Jeremy apparently knew about, that this would not fit in the existing building. They need much more switchgear, more room, more stuff. That was out of left field, and that is not something that was unknown. So I think they feel a little miffed about that. That's my read on it from way all around.
But Fred, Emily did say in front of Mike that I communicated with you on May 27th.
Right.
She said I had conversation with you. He didn't oppose that.
Yeah.
Mike has taken a very
So-
reasonable approach.
Mike has met, and I've not been involved with this, it's Mike and Rich Wolfson, who knows the most about physics and the technology of this, who have done that, and I tried to stay out of that, managing that. Mike had wanted me to somehow make sure that this process would be more accessible for the Energy Committee, and I said no, it needs to be done efficiently, and that's what I reported. I don't know, David, maybe you can add, you were there at the last Energy Committee meeting and heard that.
No, I feel like I got what I needed from what you just said. I mean, we can still keep talking about it if you want to, but like, I just,
Maybe we can.
I didn't know any of like that. Like,
Right. No, indeed.
that's helpful.
Yes.
To know that this entity that we're trusting to do. Anyway, okay.
That's corporate knowledge. I mean, that's what you've watched for years.
And Emily's, basically being a firewall so that she's not peppered with all sorts of stuff from committee members around. So that, I think the committee wanted to be able to have access directly to Wright Pierce engineers to ask them questions earlier on, and that was resistant. So that's the other background of it.
Well, I understand that.
I think the Energy Committee wanted to come to this board more than they wanted to go to the Infrastructure Committee.
That's what it sounds like.
Sure. No, we are so. Yes.
Yes.
There's inside football there as
There's
well.
9 people in the Infrastructure Committee that talk about infrastructure all the time.
Yep.
And there's 7 people in the Select Board
Who
that
don't.
don't talk about infrastructure all the time. So they're more interested in presenting the case here than the infrastructure.
Okay.
That's just personally my feeling.
That's helpful.
Well, I think I thanked people involved at the infrastructure meeting, including the engineers, Emily, for the efforts that they had made to, try to bring this together efficiently. And I still believe that. I mean, it didn't please the Energy Committee that I took that.
Sure.
But I'm trying to keep all the processes working constructively.
The Energy Committee's regularly scheduled meeting is tomorrow.
Good.
Just so you know, they have another meeting
Good.
tomorrow. So I'm sure that'll be the topic of conversation.
Actually going to work on the enhanced energy plan.
Oh, town.
I bet that's all
I
stuff.
bet they're gonna
Somebody tells me it'll come up.
edit the.
Well, they'll ventilate some from, what can we do? They'll still, it blows the goals out of the water.
So is it my turn?
Well,
for
it depends what
concerns?
scope you've got, like I was saying.
So what else are you gonna do on the 28th while I'm here, not here?
Chip, we're talking about Chip.
We're voting on this.
Motion to adjourn?
It's not because of somebody.
Yeah, okay.
Are we done with the public?
Are you setting a tax rate?
I don't July, no, it'll be in August.
Okay.
No, not at the end of July.
Andy, are we done with board member concerns?
No.
Andy and I decided that next week, ladies, hey,
We're not adjourned.
Andy and I decided that the next meeting, we're gonna bring our spouses. It's rotating spouse nights, so everybody bring their spouses, right?
That's right. We have
the
two
meeting?
spouses here.
We have two spouses here.
Hey,
Out of the loop.
So
I did not bring her.
you can bring a significant other.
I have no significant other.
Dan,
Can we
Dan,
adjourn
Dan.
this meeting?
Is this meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Move.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Dan, I did not bring